Chapter 30-40. Therefore little one instantly lost interest in little 11. Even if marrying little 11 could make Patriarch Xianxun value him more, he was not prepared to do such a thing. However, on the surface, he still pretended to be very concerned and said, "Master, how is little junior sister's injury?" "It's all right. Her life is not in danger, but she has lost all her strength." Patriarch Xianxun sighed and said, "Little one, I have something to tell you. It's about little 11's marriage." Little one was stunned and smiled bitterly in his heart. Patriarch Xianxun was not going to betroth little 11 to him, was he? That would be fucked. It's like this. Little 11 has lost her strength. I think it's no longer suitable for her to be with you. How could Patriarch Xianxun not see through little one's thoughts? However, he also understood that little one was someone who had set foot on the heavenly way with him. Marrying a useless little 11 was indeed a bit of a burden. "Master, I didn't mean that." Little one did not expect Patriarch Xianxun to say that. Was he testing him? Thinking of this, he quickly waved his hand and refused. "Little one, this is not what you want, it's what I want." However, Patriarch Xianxun said, "I'm preparing to betroth her to Kang Xiaoming. It should be very difficult for Kang Xiaoming to advance any further. He relied on swallowing medicinal pills to advance, and there's basically no possibility of him setting foot on the heavenly law. If he and little 11 stay here, it can be considered that the 5-element sect here will have an heir." "I see." Little one thought about it and it was indeed like this. It was fine as long as Patriarch Xianxun did not blame him, so he nodded and said, "That's also a good thing. I'll congratulate little junior sister. Eldest senior brother, don't forget to attend my wedding." Little 11 smiled at little one. She had also thought it through. Kang Mingming was very handsome and most importantly he was suitable for her. Although little one was strong, he would definitely go to Heaven Stage Island with his father. Haha, of course. Little one smiled and said, "At that time, eldest senior brother will definitely give you a big gift." "Thank you, eldest senior brother." 11's mood was slightly better today. "By the way, why did you look for me so early in the morning? Has Taganlong already woken up?" Patriarch Xianxun waved his hand and gestured for little 11 to stop there. He had checked on Tagan Dragon's condition yesterday, so he wasn't worried. In his opinion, Tagan Dragon would definitely wake up today. "Yes, master. Taganlong has woken up, but his body is still a little weak, so he can't visit you personally." Little one said. "Oh, it doesn't matter. I got it." Patriarch Xianxun said, "I'll go see him myself later." "Okay, master." Little one said, "Then I'll go down first. Call Kang Mingming over on the way. I have something to tell him." Patriarch Xianxun said to little E. "Yes." Little one nodded and retreated. Not long after, Kang Mingming came to Patriarch Xuanxun's room. He had already broken off the engagement with little Peach. Kang Mingming was very happy these few days, but he also heard the news that little one was injured by Lin Yi, so he had to pretend to be sad at this time. "Disciple greets master and 11th senior sister," Kang Mingming said respectfully. However, when he saw little 11 covered in gauze on the bed, he was still shocked. What's going on? Have the silver needles in her body been pulled out? Only by pulling them out would there be such an effect, right? Thinking of this, Kang Mingming couldn't help but laugh in his heart. Little 11 was Patriarch Xuanxun's daughter. Now that she was abused like this, would Patriarch Xianxun let Lin Yi go easily? That was obviously impossible. "Xiaoming, your engagement with little Peach has been completely cancelled, right?" Patriarch Xianxun glanced at Kang Mingming and asked. "Yes, it has been cancelled." Kang Mingming replied quickly. "Very good. In that case, I will be your matchmaker again." Patriarch Xianxun nodded and said, "Matchmaker?" Kang Mingming was slightly taken aback. "Master, you mean to introduce me to a partner?" "That's right." Patriarch Xianxun said, "I'm going to let you marry my daughter, little 11. Kang Mingming was completely stunned after listening to Patriarch Xuanxun's words. "Marry little 11? Isn't that the mummy on the bed?" Kang Mingming heard that after little 11's silver needles were pulled out, her whole body would be full of holes. Moreover, little 11's strength would be lost and she would be a useless person. If Kang Mingming married her, she would be worse than little Peach. Although little 11's face was prettier than little Peach's, if he took off her clothes at night, little 11's body would have big holes and small eyes, or only half a butt or half a chest. Wouldn't that scare him to impotence? "What? Kang Mingming, you don't agree?" Patriarch Xianxun frowned slightly and asked. No, I'm just too happy." Kang Mingming was shocked. How could he dare to disagree? This was Patriarch Xuanxun's daughter, and Patriarch Xianxun was the matchmaker himself. If he refused, he would probably be kicked out of the house. Therefore, no matter how unwilling Kang Ming was, he could only pretend to be very happy and said, "This happiness came too quickly. I can't bear it all of a sudden. I'm stunned." "So you agree?" Patriarch Xianxun asked. Parents' orders are like the words of a matchmaker. Master, 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 master is like a father. Your arrangement is the will of your disciple. Kang Ming said quickly, but his heart was bleeding. If he knew it would be like this, he wouldn't have asked Little Peach to cancel the marriage. He really regretted it. But what was the use of regretting? Kang Ming could only accept the reality of being married in front of him. "All right, since you agree, I'll find a day to hold your wedding." Patriarch Xianxun nodded in satisfaction. "Okay." Kang Ming thought, how could I say no? What a scam. "Lin Yi, I'll never forgive you. You crippled this piece of trash and gave her to me. One day I'll definitely kill you." Kang Ming swore in his heart. Lin Yi returned to the villa from House Sun with Wu Qintian and Flaming Cloud. When Mingyao opened the door, she was slightly taken aback. She didn't expect Lin Yi to be back. When Qintian left the villa, although he didn't say anything, Mingyao didn't think much about it. After all, Qintian often drove out to buy things. Mingyao thought that Qintian was back, but when she saw Lin Yi outside the villa, she was surprised. "Lin Yi, you're back? Aren't you still at home?" Chapter 30-41. "I'm back. Something happened at Jingyi's house. I came back in a hurry. Let's talk inside," Lin Yi said to Mingyao. "Okay." Mingyao opened the door and Lin Yi drove the jeep into the yard, but another car drove in right after. Mingyao paused. "Lin Yi, whose car is this?" But just as she finished asking, she saw Qintian sitting in the driver's seat. "Mingyan, this is Boss Spoils of War. It's quite valuable, a modified Hummer." Qintian quite liked this car. It was quite domineering, but it didn't have as many seats as the Jeep, so it couldn't fit more than a few people. This Hummer was Little E and Little Eleven's car. Lin Yi was angry, so he took the car for himself. In fact, although it was a modified car, it was only a few million. This amount of money didn't mean much to Lin Yi and Qintian. They were happy that this car belonged to Little E. This was a classic case of throwing away a car to save the king. Although the car door was locked, it was nothing to Lin Yi. However, Lin Yi and Qintian didn't know that Little E had put his Sky-class weapon in the trunk of the Hummer, and Lin Yi didn't search for it. Poor Little E, he was waiting for a few days to calm down before sending someone to drive the car back. After all, as far as he was concerned, a locked car on the streets of the common world wouldn't be a problem. On the way, he saw many private cars parked on the side of the road and nothing happened. But he'd forgotten that he was parked on House Sun's private turf. He could tell with one look that this Hummer with a foreign license plate was probably Xiao Yi's car when he first got here. After parking the car, Mingyao and Lin Yi walked into the villa together, calling out as they walked, "Shu, Lin Yi's back, don't you miss him? Come down." "Shu bro's back?" Yushu said as she ran down the stairs. She had just finished showering and was drying her hair. She was quite happy, but when she saw Flaming Cloud enter the door with Lin Yi, his expression froze for a moment. Fiery Cloud? "Shu bro, why did you let him in?" Yushu hated Hua Mingyun from the bottom of her heart. "He's a bad guy." "Shu, do you have some misunderstanding about Fiery Cloud?" Lin Yi was a little puzzled by Yushu's attitude. Yushu looked like she was crazy every day, but she never messed around when it came to big things. Lin Yi felt that there was something wrong with this situation. "There's no misunderstanding. This person was barbecuing at the entrance of the villa using martial arts. He's planning to roast Skybolt Pig into a roast suckling pig." Yushu started framing Hua Haiyun, the second sister-in-law. "When did I roast suckling pig?" Flaming Fire Cloud was speechless, but he didn't dare to retort and could only ask with a wry smile. "All right. Shu, Hua Haiyun was helping out just now. He was heavily injured by a Sky-class late-phase peak master. He's not a bad guy," Lin Yi said to Shu. Yushu could only sit on the sofa sullenly after seeing that her defamation of Hua Haiyun didn't work out. "Boss, second sister-in-law seems to have some misunderstanding about me." Hua Haiyun really couldn't understand how he had offended this child-faced girl. He seemed to have been serious from the moment he arrived, right? And he didn't show any covetous look towards her like some of the other young masters did. "There's no misunderstanding, you're the one who's bad," Yushu mumbled. "Shu, stop messing around." Mingyao glared at Shu as well. "Don't you want to hear Lin Yi's story about his trip to House Sun?" "Of course I do." Yushu loved listening to Lin Yi's stories the most. Every time Linny came back she would listen with great interest. She could only give up on attacking Hua Haiyun and shut her mouth. Linny smiled. He didn't know what to do with Shu, but with Hua Haiyun here he couldn't ask too much. He only turned to Qintian. Qintian, tell Shu and the others about what happened. Okay. Qintian nodded and told Mengyao and Yushu everything that happened in detail. Mengyao and Yushu didn't expect that the Xianxin elder would make a move again, and this time it was against House Sun. Sun Jingyi was Falbert's daughter, and Mengyao was very concerned about her safety. When Mengyao heard about Little 11 using needles to torture Sun Jingyi, her face turned red with anger. Linny, did you teach that Little 11 a lesson after that? Haha, just keep listening to Wu Qintian. Linny smiled as he turned to Mengyao. And so, Mengyao could only listen patiently, even though she knew that Sun Jingyi was fine. Otherwise, Linny wouldn't be able to come back so easily. But after listening to Qintian's story, Linny gave him a taste of his own medicine, using needles to torture Little 11. She couldn't help but smile excitedly. The miss wasn't a cruel person. In fact, she was very kind, but this time she was really angry. This Little 11 was the one who tortured Han Jingjing last time, almost killing her, and now it was Sun Jingyi. No matter how kind Mengyao was, she couldn't tolerate her anymore. Yushu, on the other hand, felt that it wasn't ruthless enough. She interrupted, "Oh, if Shu was here, we'd tie her to Feng's tail and run 10 laps with her." Linny couldn't help but smile bitterly. "I want to, but there's no time. If it wasn't for Hua Haoyun stopping Little Yi's attack, I would have had to kill Little 11 immediately. I wouldn't have been able to torture her." Qintian continued the story, and Mengyao and Shu couldn't help but click their tongues. Luckily, Linny had left Tagan Dragon as a last resort. Otherwise, if Linny had killed Tagan Dragon first, Linny and the others wouldn't have been able to come back. This was something Linny had no other choice. When facing an enemy stronger than himself, he had to find a way out. Otherwise, it would be very dangerous. Of course, if there was no way out, he could only fight with brute force. When Qintian finished his story, it was getting late. Hua Haoyun stood up and said his goodbyes. He wasn't a blind person. He knew that Yushu didn't like him, and staying here would only make things worse. Chapter 3042. After sending Firecloud away, Linny called out to Yushu, who was going upstairs, "Shu, why are you in such a hurry to sleep? Don't you have anything to explain to me?" "I'm going to take a shower." Yushu stuttered. "Shower? Didn't you just take a shower?" Linny asked as he looked at Yushu's wet hair. "I'm actually going to help Yao Yao scrub." Yushu rolled her eyes. "Yao Yao hasn't showered yet, I'll go help her." "It's fine, I'll be fine by myself. You sit here," Mengyao said as she pushed Yushu back and went upstairs. She knew that Linny wanted to talk to Yushu about Firecloud. Although Mengyao was curious, she asked Yushu about it before and Yushu didn't say anything. She could only rely on Linny to ask. "Shu bro, you're leaving Shu alone and chasing Yao Yao away? Are you going to confess to Shu?" Yushu looked at Linny with eyes full of love. Linny was speechless. "Shu, look at you, how is this a confession? You're clearly confessing to me." Okay, Shield bro, Shu is confessing to you." Yushu heard Lin Yi's words and went along with Lin Yi's words. "What do you think of Shu? Can I be your small wife?" "Alright Shu." Lin Yi's expression turned serious as he looked at Yushu. "Shu, although you're good at disguising yourself in many situations, we're too familiar with each other. However, we are already too familiar with each other. You want to lie in front of me? I'm afraid you're feeling a little guilty, right?" "Shield bro, you're amazing. Now that you know, I'll be happy." "Then why did you say?" Yushu put away her innocent expression and blinked her big watery eyes at Lin Yi, a little troubled. "Shu, why do you hate Firecloud? There must be a reason for this, right?" Lin Yi stared at Xiao Shu and asked word by word, "There is no love without reason in this world, and there is no hate without reason either. You didn't even know him before, so why would you hate him?" In fact, until Hui Yaoshuan left the villa, Lin Yi did not mention anything about going to the Hakanamata desert again. It was also because Lin Yi couldn't figure out the conflict between Xiao Shu and Hui Yayun. "Actually, I'm not too sure either." Just as Lin Yi was about to say something, a voice suddenly rang out. Little Shu opened her mouth. "Shield bro, do you still remember? I used to have an engagement, right?" "Engagement?" Lin Yi was slightly taken aback. "Yes, it's an engagement between me and an ancient sect." Yushu nodded. "Ichem?" Lin Yi thought about it. It seemed like there really was such a thing. But this was a long time ago, before Lin Yi unified the common noble houses. Before the noble house meeting, House Kang wanted to become a noble house, and one of the noble houses had to be eliminated. At that time, people didn't think much of House Qin, but there was a rumor that Yushu was engaged to an ancient sect when she was born. This way, people who wanted to go against House Qin wouldn't dare to do anything rash. Although Lin Yi had heard of this rumor, he didn't think much of it. After all, every noble house would promote themselves before the noble house meeting. It was reasonable for them to make up some lies. But when Shu mentioned it again, Lin Yi remembered, which ancient sect? I'm not sure, but it should be Flaming Mountain. Yushu lowered her head, feeling a little down. I don't know if it's this fire cloud, but I don't want to have too much to do with Flaming Mountain. So that's how it is. Lin Yi realized that he had wronged Shu. She wasn't being unreasonable, she was just trying to resist this so-called engagement. If it were Lin Yi, he wouldn't feel good with this curse on him. Then I'll ask Fire Cloud another day? No. Yushu shook her head. Shield bro, please don't ask. Oh? What's wrong? Lin Yi frowned slightly as he looked at Yushu and asked seriously, Shu, is there something you're hiding from me? No. No. Yushu's face froze as she stuttered. No? Lin Yi took a deep breath and decided to have an honest talk with Shu. Lin Yi was a sky class now and he was no longer the novice he used to be. If Shu had something to hide, Lin Yi wanted to help her solve it and share her burden. He said word by word, last time, you poisoned my tea and tried to kill me with a knife in the middle of the night. I knew about this a long time ago. Ah. Yushu screamed, her face paling. She didn't expect Lin Yi to know everything and in such detail. But why didn't he say anything? Why was he so nice to her? Shield bro. You know everything? Then why didn't you expose me and still treat me so well? Shu, I believe you have your reasons and you are not a bad person. You don't want to kill me, right? Lin Yi smiled and said, so I don't blame you. You poured me tea and you spilled it. You tried to kill me with a knife in the middle of the night, but you couldn't do it, lying to me that you were sleepwalking. Well, okay, I'll tell you the truth, but don't tell Yao Yao sis, she will be worried. Yushu hesitated and said, don't worry, I won't tell her. Lin Yi nodded. Pinky promise. Yushu put out her pinky. Okay. Lin Yi pulled Yushu's pinky and said, can you tell me now? I'm not Yu Qian's biological sister, Yushu said weakly. I'm not House Chen's child, I'm an adopted child. Ah? Lin Yi was stunned. He didn't expect Yushu to be an adopted child, not Yu Qian's biological sister. But Meng Yao probably didn't know about this. Then does Yu Qian know? Who else in the Qin clan knows about this? Chapter 3043. Someone else? Oh. Lin Yi asked. People from the hidden house Yu. Poisoning you was actually an order from the hidden house Yu. Since Yushu had already said it, she might as well just tell the truth. Hidden house Yu? Lin Yi frowned. This house, if it wasn't for my friend, I would have killed them like a dog. The hidden level is nothing to be afraid of. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Lin Yi was telling the truth. Back then, the hidden house Yu was a huge monster to Lin Yi, but now Lin Yi could destroy the hidden house Zhao with a flick of his finger, and the hidden house Yu could do the same. Whether it was Yu Xing or Yu Yi, they weren't Lin Yi's match at all. If Lin Yi wanted to destroy House Yu, it would only be a matter of seconds. My parents were controlled by the hidden house Yu, or rather they weren't the ones controlling them. There's a very powerful ancient sect behind them. I'm not sure which sect it is exactly, but I have a feeling that it's not Fiery Mountain. Yushu said, because Fiery Mountain and the hidden house Yu don't seem to have much of a relationship. The hidden house Yu controlled your parents? Lin Yi felt that things were getting more and more strange. Then have you seen your parents? Or do you just believe whatever they say? No. Yushu shook her head. They didn't show me pictures of my parents, probably afraid that something would go wrong, but they gave me a bottle of blood and asked me to do a DNA test secretly. I also took my brother's blood for testing, and the results showed that I'm related to the blood they gave me, but my brother isn't. So this is true? Lin Yi was shocked. Blood was something that couldn't be faked. If it wasn't, it wasn't. Even if Lin Yi was a practitioner, he wouldn't be able to change these things. Yes, that's why I couldn't help it. They only forced me to do one thing, but they didn't tell me to kill you. Killing you was a later mission, but it was probably the hidden house Yu's idea. It had nothing to do with the sect behind them. Shu wasn't stupid. Shield bro, after you became stronger, they gave up on the plan. The hidden house Yu. What role are they playing? Lin Yi had a sudden realization. Yu Xing seemed to be a very smart man. Otherwise he wouldn't have been able to make House Yu the #1 hidden house. He was not as stubborn as old man Zhao. This could be seen from the fact that he revoked the order to assassinate him. Once things went south he would give up. A wise man submits to circumstances. However, he had a good relationship with Yu Bing, and he had an old relationship with Yu Ning. If it was any other hidden house's leader, their first thought would be to rope him in, but the hidden house Yu didn't do that. This also proved that the hidden house Yu had another backer behind them. This backer was extremely strong, even stronger than Lin Yi, so the hidden house Yu couldn't choose Lin Yi. This explained Shu's situation. But which ancient sect was behind the hidden house Yu? Lin Yi suspected for a long time, but he didn't have any clues. It was impossible for Fiery Mountain and Yellow Earth High Sect. The young masters of these two sects were his followers. It was also impossible for the Dark Palace. They wanted to go against him, but Yui wanted to help him. Ice Palace and Snow Valley were also unlikely. As for the Heavenly Elixir sect, it was the hidden house Yu's backer. It couldn't be the hidden house Yu's backer. Could it be one of the Five Elements sect or the Everyday and Everyday sect? Thinking of this possibility, Lin Yi's face darkened. These were the two strongest existences in the ancient sects, and they had even surpassed the ancient level. But these were all Lin Yi's wild guesses. If it really was the Five Elements sect or the Everyday and Everyday sect, then Lin Yi should pretend he didn't know anything. Otherwise, if he went to House Yu to help Yushu, the Five Elements sect and the Everyday and Everyday sect might just kill Yushu's parents. They should be the messengers. Yushu said, "Shield bro, let me tell you a secret. Actually, Shu is also an inheritor." What? Lin Yi paled. Yushu's words shocked Lin Yi. Yushu was an inheritor? Should be, I guessed it myself. Yushu said, "The hidden house you told me that I have to stay a virgin because I have an engagement. As long as I do as they say and get married, they'll let my parents go." You thought of her as an inheritor from the aspect of being a virgin? Lin Yi asked. Yes, Xiaoxiao's always like that. Then I thought that maybe the marriage was just a cover, and the real thing I wanted to do was to accept the inheritance. Plus, my body keeps getting hot for no reason. Yushu said, "I told you before, it's the fire poison. House Yu gives me medicine to suppress it, and if I don't take the medicine my body will heat up and I'll die from the heat." It's similar to Xiaoxiao's symptoms? Lin Yi nodded. He remembered that Yushu's body did heat up before, and she got better after taking a medicine. It was said that it was found outside. Lin Yi didn't pay much attention to it, but now it seemed that Yushu and Xiaoxiao were very similar. Flaming Mountain is the birthplace of the fire element. If you go there you might really accept the fire element's inheritance. Lin Yi said, "So, you're afraid that Flaming Cloud will find out that you're the inheritor and not the engagement, right?" "Yeah, I don't want to go. But I can't. I can only drag it out one day at a time," Yushu said slowly. "Shu, it's been hard on you all these years." Lin Yi looked at Yushu sympathetic. What kind of girl was this? Her life was in someone else's hands, and her parents' lives were in someone else's hands. She, on the other hand, had to force a smile on her face in order to hide the pain in her heart. She'd been smiling every day, but it was just an act. She looked like she liked to mess around, but she knew everything. She wasn't stupid at all. "I'm used to it." Yushu smiled. "Lin Yi bro, don't tell Yao Yao sis, I don't want her to worry. She's a person with a lot of things on her mind, and I'm afraid that she'll be sad if she finds out." Chapter 3044. The Miss was indeed the type of person who kept everything to herself. Not letting her know about it was for her own good. "Just call me Shield bro, I'm not used to it yet." Yushu smiled. "I'll help you find out about Flaming Mountain's inheritance. As for House Yu, I'll find a chance to ask Yu Bing. Don't worry, since they're asking you to do something, they won't do anything to your parents for now. They're still safe for now." Lin Yi comforted, "But it's not too long until this situation is broken. Once I increase my strength again I'll be able to kill a Sky-class late phase peak in one hit. Then I'll be in charge of everything in the world of practitioners. The rules will also be set by me." Lin Yi had this kind of pride now. From a common noble house to a hidden noble house, Lin Yi had already started to step into the ancient level. In the near future, Lin Yi might stand at the top of the pyramid of the ancient level. At that time, all the ancient sects would be the same as the hidden sections. They would either surrender or be annihilated. Yes, Shu believes that Shield Bro has the strength. Yushu had always trusted Lin Yi. "Let's call it a day. I'll pay attention to this," Lin Yi said to Yushu. "Okay, I'm going to sleep now. I'm so sleepy." Yushu yawned as she wobbled her way up the stairs, back to her usual crazy self. Looking at Yushu's back, Lin Yi sighed. So Shu had always been unhappy. Her happiness was just a disguise. He went back to his room. Lin Yi called Boss Bai. With so many things happening today, Lin Yi had to talk to Boss Bai. Also, Linny had to ask Boss Bai about Yushu. Why are you calling me so late? You're back? Boss Bai's voice came from the phone. Teacher Bai. I just returned to East Ocean City, but something happened and I need to tell you, Linny said. What's up? Boss Bai took a sip of tea. Since Linny wanted to talk to him so late at night, it must be something important. Xianxin, he sent little 1 and little 10 to cause trouble again. Linny said. What? They're here again? Boss Bai was surprised at first after hearing Lin Yi's words, and then there was anger in his voice. He made a deal with me before. He won't make a move against you, but he actually dares to break the agreement? Not me but Sun Jingyi. Linny said, I'm guessing that he's just playing on the edge. He feels that if he touches Sun Jingyi, he's not touching me, nor your disciple, and you can't find fault with him. Xianxin, this guy. Boss Bai listened to Lin Yi's words. Thinking of Xuanxin's character, he was very supportive of Lin Yi's guess. Yes, it should be like this. Is Sun Jingyi in danger? What's going on? It's like this. Lin Yi told what happened today in detail. He told Boss Bai everything. Treating Tagan Dragon? However, you actually disabled Little 11. I'm afraid Xianxin will not let this matter go. Hearing that Lin Yi and Sun Jingyi and the others were all fine. While Boss Bai was relieved, he also began to worry about Lin Yi. Even without Little 11. Will Patriarch Xianxin let me off just like that? He has always wanted to kill me and it has never changed. Now he just has an agreement with you, so he hasn't made a move yet. Lin Yi said. That's true. Boss Bai thought about it and it was indeed the case. So he said, don't worry, this time it was Xianxin who provoked you first. You only fought back. If they come looking for me, I'll talk to them. And one more thing. Do you know about the inheritor of Fiery Mountain? Lin Yi asked. Oh, Fiery Mountain? They do have an inheritor, but I don't know about the specific progress. Because this matter has always been handled by Xianxin and Little E, I have never been in contact with it. Boss Bai said. So, the inheritor of Fiery Mountain is also arranged by Five Elements sect? Lin Yi was slightly stunned after hearing Boss Bai's words. He had guessed that behind House U, it might be either Five Elements sect or Everyday and Everyday sect, but he didn't expect it to be Five Elements sect. It must be arranged by Xianxin or Little E. They have been in charge of this matter, but why do you ask? Oh, right, you just said that Hua Mingyun from Fiery Mountain helped you to deal with Little E. Are you afraid that Fiery Mountain will take revenge? After a slight daze, Boss Bai said, the Five Elements sect doesn't dare to offend the Fiery Mountain. After all, the Fiery Mountain is also very powerful. Although the inheritors are cultivated in cooperation, if the Fiery Mountain is really provoked, it will be very difficult for Xianxin to cultivate an inheritor of the fire element. I see, but I'm not afraid of Xianxin ancestors' revenge. Lin Yi shook his head and said, Little E doesn't even know Hua Mingyun's identity, and he didn't introduce himself. I think he just thought of him as my little brother. What I want to ask is, did Fiery Mountain find an inheritor? I'm even more unclear about this. You should ask Hua Mingyun directly. Boss Bai said. Okay, I'll ask him then. After knowing that Xianxin was behind this, Lin Yi decided to ignore it for now. After all, Yushu's parents wouldn't be in any danger before she completely accepted the inheritance, and Lin Yi didn't have the ability to flatten Five Elements sect at the moment. This debt would be settled with them in the future. Bringing Yushu along would just be settling old and new debts at the same time. Master Bai, I have a prescription here. The herbs on it are rather rare. You have any? Oh? Tell me about it. Boss Bai said. Sealwort, white wormwood, netherworld grass, red withered wood. Lin Yi was talking about the herbs used to strengthen meridians for the 3rd level of the art of dragon mastery. Old Lin only had a small portion of these herbs. He didn't have the rest, so Lin Yi didn't dare to recklessly replace them. He could only prepare to look for them slowly. I don't have these things. They are all rare herbs. If you are not in a hurry, I have some seeds that I can plant for you. But it is already winter now. We can only plant them in spring next year. The cycle is a bit longer. Boss Bai said. Chapter 3045. According to what Boss Bai said, it would take at least next summer for the herbs to be harvested, and Lin Yi couldn't wait that long. If you are in a hurry, I suggest you go to the cultivators' market. They sell these medicinal materials all year round. Boss Bai said. Right? Lin Yi slapped his forehead. How could he forget the cultivators' market? Lin Yi planned to get some elixirs and then exchange them for some necessary medicinal materials at the cultivators' market. Although the auction had not been held yet, and the elixirs could be sold for cash, the Cultivator Association could also barter. It was feasible to exchange some medicinal materials with elixirs. Thinking of this, Lin Yi planned to contact the vice president of the Cultivator Association tomorrow and exchange some elixirs that Han Jingjing had refined in his hands for the medicinal materials he needed. After making the decision, Lin Yi continued to condense the forging fire. This was the only thing Lin Yi could do before cultivating the third level of the art of dragon mastery. After today's experiment, Lin Yi could already use the 9 needles of Fushi more skillfully, but Lin Yi's current strength level was limited, and the power of the 9 needles of Fushi was also limited. The next morning, Boss Bai had just woken up when he received a call from Patriarch Xianxin. Boss Bai glanced at the caller ID on the phone and sneered in his heart. I haven't found trouble with Patriarch Xianxin yet, but he called first? Could it be that he called to apologize? However, Boss Bai still picked up the phone, but his tone was a little cold. Xianxin? What's the matter? Senior brother Xianxin, there is something I have to apologize to you. Patriarch Xianxin felt very vexed and aggrieved. Little 11 was crippled, and he had to take the initiative to apologize to him. But there was no way he had to do so. Oh? Boss Bai was stunned after hearing Patriarch Xianxin's words. Did this Patriarch Xianxin change his nature? Before. He just guessed casually, but he didn't really think that Patriarch Xianxin was here to apologize to him. He knew Patriarch Xianxin's character. How could this person take the initiative to apologize to him? Before. I didn't know that Sun Jingyi is your disciple's wife, so I sent little 1 and little 11. However, this is also for Tagan Long. You also know how important Tagan Long is to our 5-element sect. If our 5-element sect wants to return to that level, we must do this. Patriarch Xianxin sighed. Xianxin. Then according to your wishes. Even if you know that Sun Jingyi is Lin Yi's wife, you would do the same for Tagan Dragon, wouldn't you? Boss Bai retorted. That's definitely not possible. I will discuss it with you in advance, and if you don't agree, I'll find another way. Patriarch Xianxin paused and said weakly. Is that so? Boss Bai smiled noncommittally. All right. I accept your apology. Is there anything else? Eldest senior brother, do you think little Yi's car was driven away by Lin Yi? Patriarch Black Earth asked carefully. A car? What are you going to do? Boss Bai really didn't know that Lin Yi had driven little Yi's car away, and Lin Yi didn't mention this on the phone yesterday. Moreover, Boss Bai really didn't know what was the big deal about a car. As for Patriarch Xianxin, did he have to specifically ask about it? The 5-element sect wasn't poor. It's like this. Little E left in a hurry and didn't take out his heaven-grade weapon in the trunk of the car. Do you think you can return it to him? This was the purpose of Patriarch Xianxin's call today. Otherwise, he would never take the initiative to apologize to Boss Bai. At most, he would apologize when Boss Bai questioned him. If Boss Bai didn't say anything, he would pretend not to know. However, after Little E left this morning, he quickly returned. The person Little E sent to look for a car near the Sun family didn't see Little Yi's car at all. This person wasn't a high-level cultivator and didn't dare to go to the Sun family to ask for trouble. He could only truthfully report the situation to Little E. Little Yi's first thought was that it was taken away by Lin Yi. Other than Lin Yi who would steal his car. Thinking of this, Little E was really regretful and hateful. If he had gotten out of the car with his heaven-grade weapon, wouldn't it have been a different scene? He wouldn't have lost so easily. At the very least, it would have been extremely easy to get rid of Hua Mingyun, Wu Qintian, and Lin Yi. Even if Hua Mingyun was at the peak of the late stage of Heaven stage, he still had the absolute advantage to kill him. However, a heaven-grade master without a divine weapon was the same as an earth-grade master who couldn't use martial arts. It was equivalent to having his arm cut off. He had strength but couldn't use it. It was simply too useless. And now the car was taken away by Lin Yi. The car wasn't important, but the heaven-class weapon in the car was important. So Little E had no choice but to seek help from the Xianxin old ancestor, asking him to help him get his heaven-class weapon back. So, in desperation, the Xianxin ancestor could only call Boss Bai humbly. He knew about Little Yi's heaven-grade weapon. It was also one of the strongest heaven-grade weapons in the 5-element sect, and it was the most suitable for Little E. With this weapon in hand, Little E could use his full strength and fight against enemies of a higher level. But without this weapon in hand, Little E was like a tiger without teeth. So even if the Xianxin ancestor was useless, he had to call Boss Bai. I can't say for sure. Lin Yi didn't tell me about the car. Maybe it was stolen by some car thief? After hearing this, Boss Bai said indifferently, moreover, Sun Jingyi was injured. Didn't you say anything afterwards? This? Of course we have to say something. Aren't we discussing it now? Let's see what you need. I'll provide some for you. We don't know what you lack. The Xianxin ancestor could only say so. Oh, then I'll ask Linny when I have time. See if he saw your heaven-grade weapon. Boss Bai said casually, but his tone sounded like he was just dealing with it. It didn't seem like he really took it to heart. Then I'll have to trouble you, big senior brother? The Xianxin ancestor was also helpless. He didn't dare to urge Boss Bai to do things. He could only think of urging him after a while. Chapter 3046. This made the Xianxin ancestor feel helpless. He looked at little E beside him and said angrily, "Why are you so careless? We are in the wrong in this matter. Your heaven-class weapon was left in the car and Lin Yi took it. Can he still return it to you?" This little one said bitterly, "Lin Yi is too treacherous, even more treacherous than you. He couldn't beat me, so he sent his spirit beast to attack Tagan Dragon. You know too that spirit beast's strength is only at the peak of the late phase of Earth class, a whole level lower than mine. But that spirit beast's skin is thick, and my attacks didn't do much damage to it. If I had been determined to kill Lin Yi, it wouldn't have been impossible. That Tagan Dragon would have been killed by that spirit beast." The Xianxin ancestor nodded. He was just saying it out of anger. This matter really couldn't be blamed on little E. Thus, the Xianxin ancestor said to little E, "Send someone to keep a close eye on Lin Yi's whereabouts. See if the heaven-class weapon is in Lin Yi's hands. If it really is, we'll think of a way to see it. If not, we'll trade with him. If it really doesn't work, hire the Blood Cloak Underworld sect to snatch it. It'll be fine as long as they don't have anything to do with our 5 Elements sect." "Yes, I'll send someone to do this immediately." Little E nodded. This was related to him, so of course he was very concerned. After little E left, he immediately sent the outer members of the 5 Elements sect, the Hidden House U, to keep an eye on Lin Yi. UE of the Hidden House U was originally responsible for connecting with Yushu, so after adding an additional task, it was just a small effort and didn't add much burden. Lin Yi was preparing to go to the trade association early in the morning. He took out all the pills that Han Jingjing had refined and put them in the car. Then Lin Yi went straight to the trade association. "Hello. Is this the vice president of the trade association, Ouyang?" As soon as Lin Yi got on the car, he dialed the number listed on the golden business card. "It's me. Who are you?" Vice President Ouyang asked after picking up the phone. "I'm Ling Yi. Do you remember me, Vice President Ouyang?" Lin Yi said the name he had used at the trade association. "Oh, it's Mr. Ling. Hello, why are you looking for me?" Vice President Ouyang immediately thought of Lin Yi, the man who was able to activate the 13th style of the Heaven-class martial art with the strength of a peak mid-earth class. Among his friends, there was no special case like Lin Yi, so his memory of Lin Yi was still fresh. It seems that Vice President Ouyang hasn't forgotten me. It's like this. I have a batch of pills in my hands. I want to sell them. I don't know if Vice President Ouyang is interested?" Lin Yi asked. "The trade association hasn't started a new market auction yet. It's not impossible for you to bring the pills now, but you won't be able to sell them at a good price. Moreover, we only support bartering at the moment. You can't exchange them for cash. Are you sure you want to do this? You will lose a lot this way." Vice President Ouyang was still very afraid of Lin Yi, so he explained the stakes to Lin Yi in detail. If it was someone else, Vice President Ouyang would be able to trick them, but not Lin Yi. "It doesn't matter. I'm just going to barter." Lin Yi said, "Then I'll go find you now?" "That's fine. I'm in the office of the previous market. You can come directly. Just report your name and show your strength. Then you can come in. The market usually accepts bartering." Vice President Ouyang said. "Okay, see you in a while," Lin Yi said. After that, Lin Yi drove to the trade association. This was the second time Lin Yi had come to the trade association. He parked the car at the foot of the trade association's mountain. Lin Yi took the pills and rushed up the mountain. The same mountain gate, there were still 2 guards at the door, but they weren't the same people as last time. The last person had been killed by Lin Yi. These 2 people obviously didn't want to follow the footsteps of the previous gatekeeper. They didn't make things difficult for those who came here, so Lin Yi entered the trade association smoothly. Lin Yi didn't stop. He went straight to the office and found Vice President Ouyang, who was on duty here. "Vice President Ouyang, long time no see. How have you been?" Lin Yi smiled and walked forward to greet him. "Mr. Ling, you're here. Please take a seat." When Vice President Ouyang saw Lin Yi, a smile immediately appeared on his face. He was clear about Lin Yi's strength, so he naturally didn't dare to neglect him. May I ask, what do you want to exchange for this time? The pills I brought this time are all here. Vice President Ouyang, please take a look. As for what to exchange, I have a list here. You can take a look. As Lin Yi spoke, he handed the pills he brought and the medicinal ingredients he needed to Vice President Ouyang. As for the pills that Lin Yi brought this time, most of them were first-grade pills that Han Jingjing obtained when she was bored. Lin Yi didn't have much use for them in his hands, and their value wasn't high, so Lin Yi directly took them to exchange for what he needed. First-grade pills. So many. What Vice President Ouyang saw in his eyes was business opportunities, not the grade of the pills. In a commercial organization like theirs, although first-grade pills were low-grade, they were also best-selling products. So he didn't think that the pills were low-grade at all. As long as there were benefits, he liked it. There's no problem with the pills. We can eat all of them. We just have to see if we have the medicinal ingredients you need. Okay. Lin Yi nodded and said, Vice President Ouyang, take a look first. Vice President Ouyang carefully looked at the list of medicinal ingredients that Lin Yi brought over and then said, Here, only 2 medicinal ingredients are rare medicinal ingredients. The price is relatively high and one of them is extremely precious. We only have one in stock, but the amount you need is relatively small. We still have enough here. We have all of them? That's great. Then can these pills of mine be exchanged? After listening to Vice President Ouyang's words, Lin Yi was suddenly surprised and happy and quickly asked. Chapter 3047. I understand you guys also need to do business as long as you can gather all these medicinal herbs of mine. Lin Yi nodded and said he didn't want to care about these small things. After all, he could exchange these medicinal herbs here. Lin Yi was already very happy. For Lin Yi, to be able to smoothly reach the 3rd level of the art of dragon mastery was better than anything else. It could be said that money couldn't buy it. That's good, I'll take you to the medicinal herb store to pick up the goods. Vice President Ouyang nodded and put away Lin Yi's medicinal pill box, then stood up and prepared to take Lin Yi to the medicinal herb store. The medicinal herb store was a shop opened by the market itself. In normal times, it also sold some medicinal herbs and ordinary medicinal pills, but the selling price was extremely expensive, usually mainly focused on barter, not monetary transactions. Lin Yi followed Vice President Ouyang to the medicinal herb store, which was located in the southernmost part of the market. It was not open before, only open during non-market hours, to provide some convenience for some people. However, the prices of the items here were very high, and the barter was at a disadvantage, so there were not many customers here. Most of them were not in a hurry, and were waiting for the market square auction to come here to buy things. Only those who were in urgent need would shop at this time. Prepare all the medicinal herbs on this list. Vice President Ouyang directly found a shop on duty, handed Lin Yi's medicinal herb list to him and said to him, Yes, Vice President. The person took the list, quickly responded, and went to prepare the goods, while Lin Yi sat at the side of the resting area with the Vice President, chatting casually. Mr. Ling, it seems that you have a lot of medicinal pills in your hands. How long has it been? You sent another batch of medicinal pills? You have more than one alchemist by your side, right? Vice President Ouyang asked. In his opinion, with so many medicinal pills, even if it was a second-grade alchemist, it would be impossible to refine so many in such a short period of time, even if he refined every day without rest, because there was always a possibility that it would be wasted, right? Besides, no one could refine medicinal pills every day without rest. There was still time for physical recovery. Maybe 3 or 4. Lin Yi said faintly. Actually, Lin Yi wasn't lying to him. Han Jingjing, boss by Guan Xian, and himself were exactly 4, so it was 3 or 4. Vice President Ouyang's gaze towards Lin Yi changed slightly. 3 or 4 alchemists. This sect was not small. Generally, ancient sects only had 1 alchemist, and many didn't even have one. Even the Heavenly Elixir sect didn't have more than 10 alchemists, but Lin Yi's sect had 3 or 4. Moreover, Lin Yi's sect was good at fighting enemies of a higher level. Lin Yi could activate the heaven rank martial arts when he was in the earth rank, which made Vice President Ouyang admire the mysterious force behind Lin Yi very much, but he didn't dare to ask more at will. He just sighed and said, No wonder Mr. Ling has so many medicinal pills. It turns out that there are many alchemists. Lin Yi smiled non-committally. Han Jingjing's method of alchemy was not something that ordinary people could understand, and Lin Yi didn't intend to say it. Over there, the medicinal ingredients were being prepared, and all the medicinal ingredients were placed in a box on the counter. This was the territory of the trade association, so there was no fear that someone would dare to steal things. However, just as a medicinal ingredient was placed in the box, a person who came here to buy things not far away couldn't help but exclaim, walked over quickly, picked up the medicinal ingredient that had just been placed in the small box, looked at it carefully and said, "I want this medicinal ingredient." After hearing this person's words, the person was slightly stunned but said, "I'm sorry, this medicinal ingredient has already been reserved by someone else. If it's reserved, won't you give him another share?" The person snorted impatiently, then took out a bank card. "Isn't the price on it 50 million? I want it." Swipe the card directly. "This?" The person didn't have the person's bank card but said, "I'm sorry sir, this medicinal ingredient, there is only one left. If you need it, please come back next year." "Next year? Is there something wrong with your head? I want it now, you can just ask the other person to wait until next year." The person said overbearingly, and after that he took the medicinal ingredient in his hand. It seemed that he didn't intend to put it down. This was the territory of the trade association, and these people were not allowed to behave atrociously, so his face darkened and he said, "Are you here? Don't you know where this place is? Vice President, someone is forcing people to buy and sell here." "Forcing people to buy and sell? What the hell are you shouting for?" The person snorted coldly and directly slapped half of the person's face, making it look like a steamed bun. The person spun a few times on the ground before stopping. At this time, Vice President Ouyang and Lin Yi also saw the situation here. This was the trade association's matter, so Vice President Ouyang naturally had to take care of it. That medicinal ingredient was prepared for Lin Yi, and now that someone had interfered, Lin Yi naturally couldn't sit back and do nothing. So both of them stood up and walked towards the person. That was a master in the early phase of Earth class, and now that he was slapped, he immediately flew into a rage out of humiliation. He didn't think that the other party would dare to hit someone here, and he didn't circulate his true chi to protect himself, so he was completely caught off guard. He pointed at the person, so angry that he couldn't speak. "You're here? Don't you know where you are? How dare you be here? Don't you want to live?" Vice President Ouyang sneered, revealing his peak early phase heaven class strength. Bang! Another slap, directly slapped on Vice President Ouyang's face. An expert with peak mid-phase heaven class strength. No wonder this person was so arrogant, so it turned out that his own strength was tyrannical. This time Vice President Ouyang was also stunned. He had the strength of peak early phase heaven class strength, and usually it was more than enough to hold the line here. Who would have thought that this person was actually a peak mid-phase heaven class strength? "I just want to buy something. If you buy it for me, then we'll live in peace. If you don't sell it to me, then don't blame me for being impolite," the person said coldly to Vice President Ouyang. Chapter 3048. Vice President Ouyang's expression changed. Although Lin Yi was powerful, he was only an Earth stage master. It was already extraordinary for him to be able to defeat a peak early stage heaven stage. In Vice President Ouyang's opinion, Lin Yi could only fight him to a draw. Therefore, when this peak mid-stage heaven stage master interfered, it put him in a difficult position. After all, the cultivation world was like this. The weak were prey to the strong. Wasn't it the same for Lin Yi in the past? After intimidating Vice President Ouyang, Vice President Ouyang looked at him in a new light. Although he was angry at being slapped, the other party was strong. Vice President Ouyang could only swallow his anger and say, "Sir, this medicinal herb was reserved by Mr. Ling. If you want it, you can talk to him directly. Please don't make things difficult for our Cultivator Trading Association. Moreover, although you are a peak mid-stage heaven stage master, our Cultivator Trading Association still has a higher level of strength. Aren't you afraid of revenge?" The cultivator nodded. After listening to Vice President Ouyang's words, he didn't make things difficult for him anymore. Instead, he turned to look at Lin Yi. "Kid, this is your medicinal herb? Give it to me and I won't kill you. Otherwise, even if you get it, you won't be able to use it." "You mean if I don't give it to you, you'll kill me and take it?" Lin Yi looked at the cultivator with interest. He started chanting. Suddenly, his heaven stage early stage strength was revealed. "Heaven stage early stage? You dare to show it in front of me?" The cultivator looked at Lin Yi sarcastically and said, "Yes, you can understand it this way. I'm threatening you. Don't doubt my words. I'll do what I say. If you dare to say no, I can kill you right now. This medicinal herb is exactly what I need. I must get it." "Is that so? Then you can die." Lin Yi sneered and used the 9th move of the Frenzy 8 trigrams palm. Vice President Ouyang faintly narrowed his eyes. When Lin Yi revealed his early heaven rank strength, Vice President Ouyang was startled. Lin Yi didn't have this kind of strength before, but how long had it been? Moreover, Lin Yi was now in the early phase of Sky Class. Based on Lin Yi's previous pattern of fighting those stronger than him, this Sky Class mid-phase peak practitioner was really dangerous. Sure enough, Vice President Ouyang's guess was right. With a loud boom, the cultivator's body flew out directly. When he fell to the ground, there was a big bloody hole in his chest. The corner of his mouth was full of blood foam. He kept struggling on the ground, but it was likely that he would never get up again in this life. You actually dared to kill my Dongfang family's elder. Dongfang family won't forgive. The cultivator used the last of his strength to say these few words. He couldn't hold it anymore. His eyes rolled and he died. Vice President Ouyang's mouth twitched twice. The gaze he used to look at Lin Yi changed from equal respect to awe. What kind of power was this? In one move, he killed a peak heaven stage mid-stage expert. If Lin Yi wanted to kill him, it would be a piece of cake. Thinking of this, Vice President Ouyang couldn't help but feel a little regretful for his actions just now. He didn't clearly help Lin Yi. He only stood from the perspective of the Cultivator Trade Association and chose to ignore the matter. Dongfang family? Lin Yi frowned slightly. What kind of family was this? Was it also an ancient family? But no matter what, he was killed. Although Lin Yi didn't take the initiative to cause trouble, he wasn't afraid of it. This Dongfang family would be a stepping stone for him to set foot on the ancient level. Lin Yi believed that even if he didn't kill him, he would do everything possible to snatch the medicinal herbs in his hands. If he let him go back and inform the Dongfang family, a large number of people would come looking for Lin Yi. Then Lin Yi would be in even more trouble. Vice President Ouyang, what did you see? Lin Yi turned to look at Vice President Ouyang and asked in a gloomy voice. Although Lin Yi knew that Vice President Ouyang's actions were understandable when he asked the cultivator to look for Lin Yi, he also had some resentment towards Vice President Ouyang. So, his tone was very impolite. Senior Ling, I didn't see anything. Vice President Ouyang's entire body trembled. He jumped in fright and hurriedly said. Oh, then how did this elder of the Dongfang family die? Lin Yi asked faintly. I don't know. It seems that he was fighting with a disciple of another ancient sect, but when we rushed over, the other person had already run away. This person from the Dongfang family is already dead, right? After Vice President Ouyang finished speaking, he turned to look at the disciple who prepared the medicinal herbs. Yes, he died very miserably, but I don't know how he died. The disciple also nodded and said, Hee. Lin Yi smiled and looked at the disciple. My medicinal herbs, are they ready? In fact, Lin Yi also knew that it was impossible to hide today's matter completely, because there was no such thing as an impenetrable wall in the world. Vice President Ouyang and this disciple swore so confidently in front of him, but in the face of a peak late-stage heaven stage expert who was stronger than him, Lin Yi didn't believe that they wouldn't tell the truth. Moreover, those who hid before, although they didn't see what happened later, they could roughly guess it. Even if they didn't know Lin Yi's identity and only knew that Lin Yi was called Lin Yi, those who were observant could also associate Lin Yi's identity from those few trials. This was only a matter of time. However, what Lin Yi lacked was precisely time. As long as Lin Yi was given a period of time, Lin Yi believed that he had enough strength, then the Dongfang family would have to think twice if they wanted to touch him. So Lin Yi didn't particularly care. Right away, the disciple hurriedly said in fear and trepidation. Hurry up, also, prepare a few portions of elixir refining materials for spirit gathering pill, small chi gathering pill, small circulation pill, and other elixir refining materials for Senior Ling. Consider it our Cultivator Trade Association's repayment to our old customers. Vice President Ouyang had previously offended Lin Yi, so at this moment he had no choice but to compromise and build a good relationship with Lin Yi. Chapter 3049. Haha, Vice Chairman Ouyang, many thanks. It looks like we can cooperate for a long time in the future. Lin Yi smiled faintly and patted Vice Chairman Ouyang's shoulder. Of course. Vice Chairman Ouyang sighed in relief. It looked like Lin Yi wasn't going to pursue the matter any further. Soon, the medicinal ingredients Lin Yi needed and some medicinal ingredients needed for alchemy were packed for Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't stay for long and directly left the trade association. However, Lin Yi's trip was noticed by one person. That person was the hidden house Yue. Yue was also a heaven-rank powerhouse. It wasn't easy for him to follow Lin Yi without being discovered by Lin Yi. It was just that Lin Yi didn't think that he would be followed. He had just advanced to the heaven rank and didn't like to use his heaven rank perception. But then again, Rain One had followed them from a very far distance, and he had relied on luck to get here. He had also hidden his aura, so it was normal that Lin Yi didn't notice him. After all, Rain One was a sky-class master who had been famous for a long time. Seeing Lin Yi leave, Yui didn't follow him. Instead, he called the old ancestor of House Yu, Yuxing. Yui, how is it? Did Lin Yi take out that heaven-grade weapon? Yuxing asked. Lin Yi went to the trade association. I originally thought that Lin Yi wanted to trade that heaven-grade weapon, but I found out that I was wrong. Lin Yi came here to sell medicinal pills. He sold a large number of first-grade medicinal pills and a small number of second-grade medicinal pills. Yui said because the elixir sent by Lin Yi was put up for sale, and the association also specially advertised that it was the same high-quality elixir from the previous auction, provided by Mr. Ling. Therefore, Yui didn't need to investigate at all to see the purpose of Lin Yi's visit this time. Oh? Yuxing was a little surprised. Lin Yi went to the trading association to sell pills? Yes, but during this time, Lin Yi had a conflict with a peak heaven rank middle stage expert. That expert was instantly killed by Lin Yi. Yui didn't see the situation with his own eyes, but looking at Elder Dongfang's body, he could imagine how strong Lin Yi was. He was worried. Lin Yi's growth was unstoppable. House Yu was no longer Lin Yi's opponent. What? Lin Yi can instantly kill a peak mid-stage heaven rank powerhouse? Yuxing was aghast when he heard that. Who is that person? I don't know. Do we need to investigate? Yui asked. No need. Don't provoke Lin Yi for this kind of trivial matter. We House Yu shouldn't have any conflict with him in the future. Although we can't refuse the mission from that place, we can't let the hidden House Yu become cannon fodder for Lin Yi because of them, Yuxing said. Yes, I understand. Yui nodded. Continue to follow him. See where the heaven-class weapon is. See if it's still with Lin Yi. Yuxing ordered. Yes, old master, Yui replied. After hanging up the call, Yuxing called Xiaoyi right away. He was in charge of contacting the hidden House Yu. Senior, this is Yuxing. I followed Lin Yi and got some information about Lin Yi's whereabouts, but I didn't get any information about your heaven-class weapon. Yuxing said carefully. No? Xiaoyi frowned. Where did Lin Yi go? Lin Yi went to the Slave Trading Association and then went home. Yuxing said. The Slave Trading Association? Are you sure he didn't go to sell my heaven-class weapon? Xiaoyi frowned. I don't think so. Lin Yi sold some first-level elixirs and some second-level elixirs in exchange for some herbs. He didn't sell anything else. Yuxing said. I see. Xiaoyi nodded. Then is my car with Lin Yi? Well, Yui doesn't dare go near Lin Yi's house. You know that Lin Yi is a sky class now. I'm afraid of being found out. Yuxing said. Then why don't you send a normal person to check? Xiaoyi asked. Well, I'll send someone to check. Yuxing wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and said. Although he was one of the strongest hidden houses, he was still trembling in fear when facing Little One. He didn't dare to resist. He was someone who could destroy the hidden House Yu with a snap of his fingers. Okay, if there's any news, report to me immediately, Xiaoyi said. Yuxing hung up carefully and sighed. He had no choice. Between Lin Yi and the Five Elements sect, it was hard for him to do anything. If Lin Yi was weak it would be fine, but Lin Yi was strong enough. Xiaoyi and Xiaoyi had lost to Lin Yi. This put the hidden House Yu in a difficult position. They didn't want to offend anyone, but since they had chosen the Five Elements sect, the price of betrayal was even higher. They could only go down this path. Xiaoyi hung up the phone and went to see the Shenshin ancestor. He repeated what Yuxing said to the Shenshin ancestor in detail. Lin Yi is going to sell pills? The Shenshin ancestor fell into deep thought after hearing Yuxing's words. Kang Mingming was also there. He was now the son-in-law of the Shenshin ancestor. Their relationship was naturally closer. There were pros and cons to this matter. Although he married a disabled woman, his relationship with the Shenshin ancestor was even comparable to Xiao Yi's. Father-in-law, I heard that Lin Yi is in a difficult situation now. The company owes a lot of debts and the only way for Lin Yi to make money now is to sell pills. Why don't we join forces with the hidden House Yu and get more pills to hit the market? This way Lin Yi's pills won't be able to sell so many. Although we can't touch Lin Yi, we can take a roundabout route and use this method to attack Lin Yi. It's actually not a bad idea, Kang Mingming suggested after listening. Chapter 30-50. Alright, father-in-law, I'll go do that right now. Kang Mingming's house had been bankrupted by Lin Yi's Miracle Dr. Guan Company, so naturally, he wouldn't let go of the opportunity to get rid of Lin Yi. What Lin Yi didn't know was that Kang Ming was up to something again, trying to ruin his business. Lin Yi couldn't care less about that now. He had prepared all the ingredients needed for the third stage of the art of dragon mastery, and Lin Yi started brewing the medicine. With the experience from last time, Lin Yi was familiar with the process, but he didn't rush it. He followed the instructions on the silk scroll strictly. After everything was ready, Lin Yi called for Hua Mingyun and Wu Qintian. Lin Yi had wanted to talk about the inheritor, but Lin Yi couldn't wait to finish the meridian strengthening, so Lin Yi decided to wait until he was done. Qintian, Mingyun, I'm preparing to finish the meridian strengthening, and I'll need to go into isolation for a while. It won't take long, a few hours if I'm fast, but I can't move during this time, so I'll have to rely on you guys to protect me. Lin Yi said. This was different from practicing, and if something happened, Lin Yi could just jump out of the liquid forcefully, but the effect wouldn't be the same and the liquid would be wasted. This was a herb that Lin Yi had gone through a lot of trouble to get his hands on. He'd even killed an elder of House Dongfang for the sake of this rare herb. How could he let it go to waste for something so ordinary? No problem, boss, we'll sit at the door and wait for you, to finish strengthening the meridians. Hua Xianyun was the first to express his opinion. Although he did not know what strengthening meridians was, he had never heard of it due to his status and knowledge in the ancient sect. However, every mantra was different, so even though Hua Xianyun was curious, he did not ask. Qintian, on the other hand, was already used to guarding Lin Yi. He didn't even need to say anything. He nodded and sat in the hall, guarding Lin Yi's door. After returning to his room, Lin Yi followed the instructions on the meridian strengthening recipe, and after drinking it, he jumped into a pot of dark green liquid. In an instant, Lin Yi felt a burning sensation on his skin, as if he had jumped into a pot of boiling water. In fact, when Lin Yi jumped into the pot, he was already prepared to resist the cold. Last time when Lin Yi refined his body, he would feel a bone-chilling cold when he jumped in. But this time, Lin Yi didn't expect that it would heat up. This caught Lin Yi off guard. Luckily, Lin Yi's constitution was better, and his ability to resist heat was stronger. Otherwise, Lin Yi would have really jumped out of the pot. Gritting his teeth, Lin Yi endured it silently. This was a test he had to go through before he stepped into the third stage of the art of dragon mastery. Lin Yi could only successfully practice the third stage of the art of dragon mastery if he persevered. The time it took to strengthen the meridians was different from the body refinement. The body refinement needed 24 hours, while the meridians only needed 4 hours. As a result, it was easier for him to get through this time than last time. As Lin Yi expected, the dark green liquid became lighter and lighter as time passed. Lin Yi knew that this was his body absorbing the liquid. It was the same last time. After Lin Yi's body absorbed the liquid, it began to expel the impurities from his body, completing the body tempering process. But this time, what surprised Lin Yi was that the color of the liquid kept becoming lighter. It wasn't like when body tempering, where the toxins were expelled after absorption. This time, it seemed to be completely absorbed into his body. No wonder the meridian strengthening time was shorter this time. It turned out that it was only the absorption process and not the detoxification process. About 4 hours later, the liquid completely turned into a clear color, which made Lin Yi click his tongue in wonder. The burning feeling also became weaker and weaker until it finally disappeared without a trace. Lin Yi jumped out of the water comfortably. He only felt that his meridian seemed to be a lot thicker than before. In the same amount of time, he could use more physical qi. Phew. Lin Yi let out a long breath. This feeling was completely different from before. Lin Yi felt that his realm had been improved qualitatively. He was afraid that whether it was compressing the true qi bomb or recovering physical qi, it would be faster than before. Thinking of this, Lin Yi took out the silk scroll copy of the third level of the art of dragon mastery and carefully studied it in his heart. The third level of the art of dragon mastery, butterfly transformation. In fact, this third level of the art of dragon mastery, Lin Yi had silently studied it many times before he strengthened his meridian. He had already memorized it by heart. He took it out this time only because he was afraid that there would be a problem. Last time he was already possessed by the devil. This time Lin Yi followed the principle of being careful. After reciting the third level of the art of dragon mastery and confirming that there were no problems, he entered the space of the jade pendant and began to practice the third level of the art of dragon mastery. Little E, you're strengthening the meridian this time? Jiao Yazi was a little surprised that Lin Yi's meridian strengthening speed this time. It seemed like everything was going smoothly. I say, Jiao Lao, you're not hoping that I'll make a mistake again, are you? Lin Yi said impatiently. Haha, of course not. Jiao Yazi laughed dryly. You're trying to practice the third level of the art of dragon mastery? Yes. Lin Yi nodded. Since the meridian strengthening is done, let's start practicing. Time is running out and the enemy is getting stronger and stronger. Haha, it's good to have a sense of urgency, Jiao Yazi nodded. Right, Jiao Lao, what's behind the fourth stone door? Lin Yi asked curiously. I don't know. Elder Jiao shook his head firmly and added, even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you. If you're looking forward to it, you can recklessly speed up your training. Haste makes waste, it's not like you don't understand this logic. All right. Lin Yi was very helpless towards Jiao Yazi. Some things he wasn't at that level yet, he wouldn't say no matter how he asked. In other words, Jiao Yazi's memory wasn't unlocked, so there was no point in asking. Chapter 30:51. The moment Lin Yi's third level of the Art of Dragon Mastery began to circulate, the energy in the space of the jade pendant seemed to be gathered by an invisible net, and then quickly rushed to Lin Yi's side. The speed at which it gathered was incomparably fast. However, Lin Yi did not have too many doubts about this situation. After all, when Lin Yi completed his body tempering and used the second level of the Art of Dragon Mastery for the first time, there was a similar effect. Therefore, Lin Yi did not care about these strange phenomena, but continued to steadily circulate the second level of the Art of Dragon Mastery. Next, Lin Yi felt as if all the acupoints in his body suddenly opened up, and the energy that was gathered in the space of the jade pendant also quickly rushed through Lin Yi's acupoints into Lin Yi's body. This situation was the same as always, but what surprised Lin Yi was that after the energy entered his acupoints this time, it did not directly enter his body like when he tempered his body, but was completely absorbed by his meridians. Was it continuing to strengthen his meridians before cultivating? After thinking of this possibility, Lin Yi felt that his guess was very reliable. This feeling was as if the energy in the space of the jade pendant was helping Lin Yi to nourish his meridians, making Lin Yi's meridians incomparably comfortable. As time passed, the third level of the Art of Dragon Mastery circulated faster and faster, and became more and more skillful. Lin Yi only felt that the endless energy in the space of the jade pendant poured into his meridians faster and faster. With Lin Yi as the center in the space of the jade pendant, more and more pure energy gathered here, waiting to enter Lin Yi's meridians, and Lin Yi could even feel the changes in his body. His meridians in his body became stronger and thicker. Lin Yi could even clearly feel that as his meridians became thicker, the speed at which he circulated the Art of Dragon Mastery became faster and faster. When Lin Yi stopped, Lin Yi could already circulate the third stage of the Art of Dragon Mastery. Lin Yi didn't continue training. After all, Wu Qintian and Hua Xiaoyun were still waiting for him outside. The two were probably very nervous and Lin Yi had to give them some time to relax. Returning to reality from the space of the jade pendant, Lin Yi pushed open the door and walked out. Boss, you finished strengthening the meridians? Qintian asked quickly when he saw Lin Yi. Yes, it's done. Lin Yi nodded. That's right, boss, what is a meridian strengthening thing? Hua Xiaoyun had wanted to ask before, but he had never heard of meridian strengthening. To put it simply, I can heal you faster. Lin Yi did not know how to explain, so he simplified it. I see. That's a good thing. Hua Xiaoyun heard it, and a look of realization appeared on his face. He nodded and said, this is very useful in a battle of attrition. Haha. Lin Yi smiled. Hua Xiaoyun only saw a part of the benefits, but he didn't know that Lin Yi's chi bomb compression speed had increased quite a bit as well. This was the ultimate weapon in a battle. Ancient House Feng. Not long after Feng Nidian consumed the Great Recover Pill, he finally woke up. His wounds were healed, but his arm couldn't be regrown. He couldn't use the heaven-defying arts anymore. His meridians were destroyed and he had lost all his strength. He couldn't change to another art and it wasn't going to work. Therefore, although Feng Yan'ai was clear-headed, he was unhappy. Feng Qinhu looked at his son, and his heart was broken. He was furious. Why was Feng Shipian able to come back safely from the test, even getting a great recovery elixir, while his own son was crippled by someone else? Wasn't it just a bullshit boss? He was just a lucky bastard. Nian, how do you feel? Feng Qinhu asked in pain. Dad. I'm done, I'm useless. Feng Nidian had already checked his body, and he realized that he was no different from a normal person. In fact, he was worse than a normal person because he had no arms. It's good that your injuries are healed. At least you're alive, it's better than being unconscious. Feng Qinhu consoled. But I'd rather die than live like this. Nidian couldn't help but raise his head in pain and scream, Dad, you have to avenge me. Nidian, don't worry, I'll avenge you. Feng Qianhu nodded and said, whoever did this to you, I'll pay back double. Tell me, what's his name, which sect is he from? Dad, that person is called Ling Yi. I don't know which sect he's from, but he seems to be a solo practitioner, but he and Zhang Naipeo used to be enemies. Just ask Zhang Naipeo from the Everyday and Everyday sect, and you'll know who he is. Feng Nidian said. Ling Yi? That name sounds familiar? Where have I heard it before? Feng Qianhu paused, but he remembered. Right, Feng Shishou had a boss in the Sky Elixir Sect's test, Lin Yi. Under Lin Yi's protection, he got lucky and passed the test. What? Feng Shishou went to the test too? Feng Nidian paused and asked, what happened? How long was I out? Why is there a test from the Sky Elixir Sect? Nidian, you've been out for half a year. Feng Qianhu sighed and said sympathetically, as for Feng Shishou going to the Sky Elixir Sect's test, it was actually a ploy. I wanted him to die there, but I didn't expect him to come back successfully. A ploy? Feng Nidian paused and asked. Yes, I was planning to ask him to get you a great recovery pill to heal your wounds. It was an impossible mission, but Feng Shipian got lucky in the Sky Elixir Sect's test. He got himself a boss and passed the test smoothly, even getting you a pill. Feng Qianhu told Nidian everything that had happened. This guy sure is lucky. Feng Nidian didn't feel grateful at all, instead he said angrily. The ancient Feng house no longer had any kinship, there was only fighting. Yeah, I'll ask you right now, just who is this Ling Yi? Feng Qianhu and the Everyday and Everyday sect were connected, and in fact these ancient sects all had some sort of connection with each other. Chapter 3052. Heavenly Venerable Pure Star was the junior brother of Heavenly Venerable Pure Yang and Heavenly Venerable Pure Yin. He had the strength of a late-stage heaven rank. When Feng Qianhu was young, he had participated in the Ice Palace trial with him, and they had some contact later on. Pure Star, I'm Feng Qianhu from House Feng. Pure Star used to be Tianhu's friend, but he was a sky-class late phase now, much stronger than Tianhu. Naturally, he had to be polite to him. Empyrean was the title that the Everyday and Everyday sect gave to the current generation of disciples. In the past, Feng Qianhu had called Empyrean Pure Star, but now he had to call him Empyrean to show his respect. Oh, Qianhu, what's the matter? Pure Star asked. It's like this, I heard that Zhang Naipeo has an enemy called Ling Yi. Do you know him? Tianhu asked. Ling Yi? Pure Star paused and remembered who Ling Yi was. Oh, the Ling Yi you're talking about is Lin Yi. Ling Yi is his alias. What's the matter? Ling Yi is Lin Yi? Feng Qianhu was shocked after hearing Chuanxing's words. Are you sure? Yeah, that's right. We all know about this. What do you know, Lin Yi? Pure Star asked. Ling Yi is Lin Yi? Tianhu gritted his teeth. But he still said, it's nothing, I just wanted to ask around. Thanks. Oh, okay, if there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. Pure Star didn't have time to waste with Tianhu. He was half a step away from Sky Class late phase peak, and once that happened, he'd have the chance to step into Sky Class perfection. He'd be able to get a share of the pie in the Sky Class island plan. After Feng Qianhu hung up the phone, his face darkened. Feng Nidian heard what Feng Qianhu said as well, so he quickly asked, Dad, you said that Ling Yi is Lin Yi? Feng Shipian's boss? That's right, it's him. Feng Qianhu nodded. Heavenly Venerable Pure Star wouldn't lie to me. It seems like it's definitely him. Damn it. Why did that Lin Yi help Feng Shipian and become his boss, then attack me in the Ice Palace's trial? Did he come to an agreement with Feng Shipian? Feng Nidian was furious. He always had the heart of a petty man jealous of the heart of a gentleman. Who knows, but I won't let this matter go so easily. I'm going to bring it up during the family meeting and let everyone know about it. Feng Qianhu said, although Feng Shipian has been stripped of his position as the heir of the young master, there's no guarantee. You're useless now. What if your grandfather decides to restore his position as the heir of the young master one day? That would be troublesome. That's right, I can't let Feng Shishou get what I can't. Nidian nodded and said hatefully, Dad, you have to help me deal with Lin Yi and Feng Shipian, I hate them. Nidian, don't worry, I'll take revenge for you. Feng Qianhu nodded. Today, two big things happened in House Feng. One was that Feng Nidian had awakened. This was supposed to be a joyous event for the ancient House Feng, but when they found out that Feng Shipian's boss, Lin Yi, was the one who crippled Nidian, the Fengs felt a little heavy in their hearts. Dad, Shipian actually took Lin Yi as his boss? Isn't that the same as taking a thief as his father? He's the one who crippled Nidian, the enemy of our ancient House Feng. Feng Qianhu was the first to speak up. Feng Tianlin frowned. He didn't expect things to turn out this way. Things in House Feng were getting out of his control. First, Feng Shipian was stripped of his position as heir of the young master, and now Feng Qianhu was doing something that was even more disadvantageous to Feng Shipian. He was caught off guard. Originally, Feng Tianlin was prepared to talk to old Master Feng about restoring Feng Shipian's position as the successor of the young master. After all, Feng Shipian was the third-generation direct descendant of the ancient Feng family. If he wasn't allowed to be the successor of the young master, would the Feng family's lineage end? But now Feng Qianhu made such a scandal, and Feng Tianlin couldn't do anything about it at all. It cut off Feng Tianlin's path of retreat. Feng Tianlin looked at his son, Feng Shipian. He was very angry. Of all the people he could have chosen to be his boss, why did he choose the enemy of the Feng family? Wasn't he just looking for trouble? Third uncle, what you said is a bit too much. How can I take a thief as my father? No matter how nice Feng Shipian was, he had to refute Feng Tianhu's harsh words, not to mention that he had implicated Lin Yi. First of all, if it wasn't for Lin Yi, I would have died in the heavenly elixir sex trial. He helped Nidian get a great recover pill to heal his injuries, and that's compensation for Nidian. Compensation? Nidian is now a cripple. How can you compensate him? A great recover pill is enough to compensate him? Are you kidding me, Feng Shipian? Are you out of your mind? How can this be the same? Feng Qianhu said angrily. Tianhu, Shipian isn't wrong. He previously crippled a disciple of our house Feng, and in the trial he saved another disciple of our house Feng. We're even now. Feng Tianlin finally thought of a solution. Nidian and Shipian are both disciples of our ancient house Feng, and we're a whole. If you want to cause trouble for Lin Yi because of Nidian, isn't that repaying kindness with enmity? How will others look at our ancient Feng family? Feng Qianhu was speechless. He didn't think that Feng Tianlin would stand on the side of house Feng, and now that it was true, he couldn't refute it. Alright, stop arguing. This is a life for a life. Besides, Lin Yi helped Shipian get a great recover pill for Nidian, so let's forget about this for now. Old Master Feng waved his hand to stop the quarrel. He knew that Nidian wasn't going to make it, and he only had one grandson left, Feng Shipian. If he were to be killed, what would happen to House Feng? Yes. Feng Qianhu and Feng Tianlin nodded. Since old Master Feng had spoken, the matter was settled. Feng Qianhu had a lot of dissatisfaction in his heart, but he had no choice but to return to Nitian's room. Chapter 3053. Dad, how is it? Did you kick Feng Shipian out of House Feng and fire at Lin Yi? Nidian asked expectantly when he saw Tianhu. Nidian, things aren't as simple as you think. Your grandpa said that a life for a life? With that, Feng Qianhu repeated Grandpa Feng's words to Nidian. Your grandpa isn't muddled. He knows that Feng Shipian is the only third-generation descendant of House Feng. If Feng Shipian is completely suppressed, what will happen to House Feng in the future? So, it's very difficult to use Grandpa Feng's hands to deal with Feng Shipian. Besides, Lin Yi is helping us, the ancient House Feng, and if your grandpa doesn't agree, then I can't mobilize a large number of masters to deal with Lin Yi. Feng Shipian, I'm so pissed. Nidian gritted his teeth, but after a while, his eyes lit up. Dad, tell me the truth. Other than me, do you have another son? You know all about it? Tianhu was taken aback as he looked at Nidian in shock. And I knew about it a long time ago, but I didn't think too much of it. After all, you wanted to raise me to be a part of House Feng, and that son, I guess, wants to help me in the future? That's right, Ran is a martial arts fanatic, and he doesn't really care about the power of the house. Of course, it's possible that he hasn't reached that level yet, and in his heart, he's just an orphan that I took in. He wouldn't want to fight for anything. Feng Qianhu nodded. If you get the position, I'll never tell him the truth, and I'll only let him be an elder of House Feng to help you. Dad, there's no need to explain all that. I understand. I'm crippled now and I can't fight for the position of heir anymore. Can't we let your son take the position? I don't want to see Feng Shipian doing well. Nidian said. Unless there's something that can stop Feng Shipian from making a comeback, none of this is a big deal. Feng Qianhu sighed. It's hard. Although Lin Yi is the one who hurt you, Lin Yi is Lin Yi and Lin Yi is Feng Shiyang. Although Lin Yi is Feng Shiyang's boss, there are two of them. There's no way to push the blame onto Feng Shiyang. Feng Nitian's face darkened after hearing Feng Tianhu's words. It was true that dragging Feng Shipian down with just this was a difficult task, but Feng Nitian wasn't willing to let it go just like that. He wanted to compete for the position of young family leader and suppress Feng Shipian, which was why he had participated in the Ice Palace trials. He had seen Feng Shipian as his mortal enemy since he was young, but he did not have any feelings for his half-brother, who he had never met before. So, he would rather let him take the position than let Feng Shipian do well. Besides, the most important thing was that Feng Shiliang was with Lin Yi. Feng Nidian didn't believe that Feng Shiliang didn't know that Lin Yi was the one who hurt him, but Feng Shiliang didn't report it, and even when the truth was exposed he still protected Lin Yi. This made Feng Nidian furious. Dad, no matter what price I have to pay, I don't want Feng Shiliang to have a good life. I'd rather die than live in dishonor. Nidian, I know how you feel, but this isn't a matter of life and death. Even if we try our best to drag him down, we don't have any bargaining chips. Feng Qinhu of course wanted Feng Shiliang dead. As long as Feng Shiliang was dead, Feng Tianlin wouldn't have the heart to continue sitting on the position of heir. At that time, wouldn't it be a piece of cake for Feng Tianhu to get the position? But it was a good idea, but it couldn't be realized. Old Feng was very smart, and normal things wouldn't be able to send Feng Shiliang to the 18th level of hell. I have an idea. Suddenly, a vicious light flashed across Feng Nitian's eyes. What idea? Feng Tianhu paused. If I die, Feng Shiliang will never be able to rise again. Nidian gritted his teeth. I don't want to live anyways, but Dad, you have to be ruthless. Poison me and blame it on Feng Shipian, and even if Grandpa suspects you, the crime of murdering his own brother will be enough to make him lose the heir position. Nidian gritted his teeth. I don't want to live anymore. You. Feng Tianhu's eyes widened. He didn't expect Feng Nidian to be this crazy, using this method to frame Feng Shiliang. This was too ruthless, using his own life to harm others. Dad, you don't have to say anything, I've made up my mind. Feng Nidian waved his hand. I'm already a cripple anyway. If I die a worthy death, I'll be able to ruin Feng Shiliang's life. Nidian, you have to understand that even if you die, you can't blame it on Feng Shiliang. Even if you're poisoned, it might not be because of the Great Recovery Pill. How can you blame it on him? You'll lose your life for nothing, it's not worth it, we have to think about this. Feng Qinhu's mouth twitched. Feng Nidian had gone crazy, he had reached a level where he would do anything for revenge. It was scary. Dad, think about it, if Feng Shiliang comes to see me and I take the poison and I scream, Feng Shiliang, why did you poison me? Did Lin Yi send you? What would happen? Feng Nidian smiled darkly. At that time, even if Grandpa doesn't believe it, he'll be suspicious. I'm afraid that Feng Shiliang won't have the heir position anymore. Then you can push out my brother that I've never met before, and Grandpa would be more than happy to let him be the heir, right? But that way, Nidian, you'll be sacrificing too much. All the benefits will go to Ranner and I. Your death is not worth it at all. Feng Nidian was moved. He had to admit that this father and son duo were both ruthless. How is it not worth it? As long as Feng Shiliang dies, I'll be satisfied. Feng Nidian said. Dad, after I die, you have to help me get revenge on Lin Yi, kill him and let me die a worthy death. All right, I promise you. Feng Qinhu gritted his teeth and nodded. Don't worry, I'll help you ruin Feng Shiliang's reputation and kill Lin Yi. Chapter 3054. There was no meaning in living anymore, and it would only lead to a twisted mentality. It was dinner time, and logically speaking, Feng Nidian should be at the table after he woke up. After all, this dinner was specially prepared to celebrate Feng Nitian's recovery, but when the dishes were laid out and everyone was about to sit down, Feng Nidian didn't show up. Feng Qinhu walked over with a worried face. Father, Nidian isn't in a good mood. His arms are broken and he can't practice heaven-defying arts anymore. He feels guilty and doesn't dare to come for dinner. Elder Feng paused. What's there to feel guilty about? Qinhu tried to persuade him again. Even without arms, he can still cultivate external mental cultivation methods. We, the ancient Feng family, can still find some external mental cultivation methods. When the time comes, he will still be able to achieve something. These words were actually a little hollow and pale. Without an arm, if he continued to cultivate external techniques, how far could he reach? Plus, Feng Nidian was past the best age to practice physical arts. Even if he practiced, he wouldn't be able to do much. He could strengthen his body, but it would be hard for him to step into the golden class. Someone like Faubert, who had both arms, was only a golden class master after so many years of practice. One could only imagine how hard it was to turn from the inside to the outside. So Feng Qinhu smiled bitterly. Father, I tried to convince him, but he's afraid that Shishui will laugh at him, so, why would I laugh at him? Shishui paused. How about this, Shui, you go talk to Nidian? Elder Feng said after some thought. Alright. Shui didn't suspect anything. He walked out of the dining room and went to Nitian's room. He knocked on the door. Nidian, it's me. Oh cousin, come in, the door isn't locked, Nidian said. Feng Shipian pushed the door open and entered Nitian's room. He was just about to say a few words to Nidian when he realized that Nitian's face was a little red. Heaven-defying, your complexion? Feng Shipian was startled and hurriedly asked. Cousin, I'm fine. I just woke up so I'm a little hot. Nidian consumed the poison and calculated the time of his death. At this moment he had Feng Qianhu's internal strength suppressing it, so the poison would take a longer time to act up. Oh, I see. Shipian nodded. If Nidian had just woken up, then his face would be red. Normally people who had just woken up would have a red face. Cousin, tell me the truth. I was able to practice the heaven-defying arts, and I was the most famous person in the younger generation of House Feng. Have you ever been jealous of me? Have you ever wanted to kill me? Nidian asked. How is this possible? The more powerful you are, the happier I will be. The prosperity of our clan doesn't belong to one person, but to everyone. Only when everyone has strength can our ancient Feng clan be called the ancient Feng clan. Otherwise we'll just be rogue cultivators. Feng Shipian shook his head and said resolutely, Really? How selfless of you. Nidian seemed to have expected Feng Shipian to say this, but I think you're waiting for something to happen to me, and when that happens you'll be able to take over, right? Nidian, how could you think like that? If I really wanted something to happen to you, why would I take the risk to help you get the great recovery pill? Shipian shook his head. That's hard to say. Nitian's face was red as he coughed. Feng Shipian, my cousin, you know that Lin Yi is the one who injured me, and you still call him boss. What are you planning? Nitian's face was red as he coughed. Feng Shipian, my cousin, you know that Lin Yi is the one who injured me, and you still call him boss. What are you planning? Do you dare say that you didn't know about this? Feng Shipian was silent. Nidian was right, he knew that it was Lin Yi who injured Nidian, but Feng Shipian knew Nitian's personality very well. If he didn't act tough first, he wouldn't be injured. But, as a member of the Feng clan, how could he say this? Forget it, let's not talk about this. Brother, can you get me a glass of water? I'm thirsty. Nidian pointed at the glass on the table. Okay. Feng Shipian nodded and took the glass on the table. I don't have hands, I'll have to rely on you to feed me, Nidian said. That's not a problem. Shipian carefully put the glass next to Nitian's mouth and let him drink. But after drinking the water, Feng Nidian waved his hand, signaling that he had drunk enough. Shipian put the cup back, but before he could turn around he saw Feng Nidian spit out a mouthful of blood, staining the sheets and quilt red. The blood was all over the floor. There's poison in the water. Cousin, why did you do this to me? Nidian shouted, I know, it must be Lin Yi. Lin Yi asked you to kill him, right? Nidian, what are you talking about? What's wrong with you? Shipian was shocked. Feng Shipian, you killed me. I'm not done with you. Nidian shouted before his eyes rolled back and he breathed his last. Nitian's voice was very loud, and not far away in the dining room of House Feng, everyone heard it clearly. Feng Qianhu's face changed, Feng Qianlin's face changed as well, and even Elder Feng's face changed. The three of them rushed into Nitian's room, and Shipian, on the other hand, was staring at the dead Nidian on the bed. How did Nidian die just like that? How did he die after drinking a mouthful of water? Nidian, what's wrong? Feng Qianhu was the first to rush into the room and saw Nidian on the bed with blood all over his mouth. He quickly hugged him and said angrily, Nidian, what's wrong with you? Why are you vomiting blood? Shipian, what's going on? Feng Tianlin ran into the room and asked Shipian. Father, I don't know what's going on. Nidian said he wanted to drink water, so I fed him a cup, and after he drank it, he vomited blood. Shipian didn't know what to do. Things were out of his expectations, and he didn't know what to do. Qianhu, my condolences, Nidian is gone. Elder Feng walked over and checked on Nitian's condition. Nidian was dead, and he knew that there was nothing he could do, so he sighed and said to Feng Qianhu. Chapter 30:55. He sounded like he was about to cry. Against the heavens was fine just now. Why did he leave in such a short time? How is this possible? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Feng Shipian was a bit awkward. Nidian died in front of him, and although he wasn't responsible for it, he didn't know what to say. He could only speak carefully. Yeah, third uncle, we should figure out what happened to Nidian. Shipian, tell us, did you kill Nidian? Feng Qianhu glared at Feng Shipian and yelled, we heard everything that Nidian shouted just now. Don't deny it. Tell us, did you kill Nidian? Feng Shipian snorted. Feng Qinhu's question made Elder Feng and Feng Tianlin turn to look at Feng Shipian. Elder Feng was confused as well. He heard what Nidian said, so he wanted to see what Feng Shipian had to say. Feng Tianlin, on the other hand, believed that Feng Shipian couldn't have killed Nidian, but the problem was that others didn't believe him. Third uncle, don't be agitated, how could I kill Nidian? Feng Shipian smiled bitterly. Nidian wanted to drink water, so I gave it to him. Who knew? You mean Nidian died on his own? It has nothing to do with you? Feng Qinhu snapped. This. Third uncle, what I mean is, I don't know how Nidian died, but it has nothing to do with me. Feng Shipian said with certainty. Nothing to do with you? I'll believe you just because you said it? I only believe my son. He said that the water was poisoned, and it was you who killed him. Feng Qinhu smiled coldly and looked at Elder Feng. Father, Feng Shipian murdered his own brother. What's the punishment? Tianlin, what do you think? Grandfather Feng also had a headache. He wasn't a detective and he couldn't tell who was right or wrong in this matter. He couldn't find someone to solve the case, so he could only rely on his own opinion and ask others. Tianhu, you said it yourself, the water is poisoned. Does it mean that Shipian poisoned the water? Can't the water be poisoned from the start? Feng Tianlin looked at Feng Tianhu and asked. Poisoned from the start? How is this possible? Are you saying that I poisoned the water to kill Defying Tian? Feng Tianhu asked ferociously. That's hard to say. Feng Tianlin shook his head. I didn't say it. You said it yourself. Even a vicious tiger will not eat its cubs. How could I harm my son? I'm a moron. Feng Qinhu said angrily. Feng Tianlin, are you saying that you can also poison Feng Shipian, and father can also poison the two of us? Elder Feng frowned slightly. He knew Feng Tianhu's personality. It wasn't impossible for Feng Tianhu to push the blame onto Feng Shipian to suppress Feng Tianlin and Feng Shipian. After all, Feng Tianhu had been doing these things secretly all these years. Although Grandpa Feng didn't say anything and turned a blind eye, he knew that Feng Tianhu could do anything. He colluded with Feng Tianlin's wife, persecuted Feng Tianlin's first girlfriend, and repeatedly laid his hands on Feng Tianlin's illegitimate daughter. Grandpa Feng knew all of this. But he couldn't do anything about it. A house needed competition to develop. Without competition there would be no sense of danger. Besides, Feng Tianlin's wife had a powerful background as well. She was the young miss of the ancient Dongfang house. The ancient Dongfang house was much stronger than the ancient Feng house, so the young miss of the Dongfang house had always been a powerful presence in the house. Even Grandpa Feng had to give her some face. But at this moment, everyone had their reasons. Feng Shipian was suspected to be the murderer, but in Grandpa Feng's eyes, Feng Nidian was a suspect as well. This cup of water was placed here. Feng Shipian came later. Tianhu, it's reasonable for me to suspect you. If you had placed a cup of poisonous water here, you could have framed Feng Shipian. Feng Tianlin said. How is that possible? How could I know that Defying Tian must drink water, and it must be when Feng Shipian went to see him? How could it be so coincidental? You're bullshitting. Feng Tianhu said. Do you think this is logical? How is it not logical? But before Feng Tianlin could finish, Grandpa Feng's voice rang out. The water. There's no poison. Grandpa Feng picked up the cup and sniffed it for a long time. He came to a conclusion, but his face was a little ugly. Only the mouth of the cup there's some poison. And only a small part of the side. This? Feng Shipian's face changed. This meant that the evidence was against him. There was no poison in the cup, which meant that the poison must have been smeared on the mouth of the cup, but only a small part of it. What did this mean? This meant that the person who poisoned him knew that Nidian wanted to drink water, and he even knew which side of the cup he wanted to drink from. Other than Feng Shipian, who could smear the poison on the side of Nidian's cup when he picked it up? Who else could do this? Of course, what Feng Shipian didn't know was that Feng Nidian smeared the poison on his lips. When he drank the water, he rubbed his lips twice when Feng Shipian wasn't paying attention. Feng Shipian, Feng Tianlin, what else do you want to say? Who poisoned him this time? Feng Qinhu roared. Grandpa, I didn't poison him. Feng Shipian knew that the evidence was against him, but he still defended himself. He didn't want to be killed for no reason. If it wasn't you, then who could it be? Grandpa Feng only believed in his own observation. As far as he was concerned, Feng Qinhu couldn't have poisoned Nidian, unless he knew the art of divination. Otherwise, how could he know that Nidian wanted to drink water, and how could Feng Shipian pick up the cup and give the poison side to Nidian? This wasn't realistic at all. If it wasn't Feng Qinhu, then who could it be? It couldn't be that Nidian killed himself, could it? Who would kill themselves for no reason? This was the most likely possibility, but it was eliminated as the most impossible as far as everyone was concerned. There was no reason for Nidian to kill himself. Since he was embarrassed to see Feng Spian, it meant that he still had a sense of shame. How could he kill himself just like that? Moreover, he committed suicide. Who gave him the poison? He didn't even have an arm, how could he take poison? Chapter 3056. Feng Tianlin was frowning as well. He didn't believe that Feng Shipian was the killer, but he couldn't find a reason to object. Shipian, tell Grandpa the truth, did you do it? If you admit it now, I'll let you off lightly, otherwise. Elder Feng seemed to have aged a few years in an instant. Although the fight for power in the family was heating up, Feng Qianhu couldn't kill Feng Shipian and Feng Tianlin in public. As for the illegitimate daughter and lover, they weren't considered part of the Feng family since they didn't return to the family. It was an unspoken rule to kill them. No. Feng Shipian knew that this answer would disappoint his grandpa. Who would believe him in a situation like this? But Feng Shipian still shook his head, denying it without hesitation. No. The rim of the cup is just right for you to have poisoned it. Only you could have done this. Old Master Feng sighed and said, good, very good. Tianlin locked the poem in the west wing. I'll think about it before making a decision. Yes. Feng Tianlin had no choice but to nod. Father, Nidian died so tragically, you have to help him. He just woke up and he still wanted to fight for the position of the young head, but he died just like that, what a shame. Feng Qianhu added oil to the fire, pointing out that Nidian still wanted to fight for the position of heir. This was the reason why Feng Shipian poisoned him. I said, lock Shipian up first, I'll think about it and make a decision. Elder Feng waved his hand. He couldn't kill Feng Shipian to avenge Nidian. After all, House Feng only had one grandson left, and if he died, there would be no heir for the ancient house. Yes. Feng Qianhu nodded his head in sorrow. He picked up Nidian's body and cried, Nidian, look, open your eyes and see, Grandpa is here for you, he won't let the murderer go. Feng Tianlin didn't believe that his son was the killer, but things were too complicated. If Feng Qianhu wasn't the killer, then who was? Who would frame Psalm? Old Master Feng shook his head, waved his hand and said, disperse, the banquet is cancelled. It was supposed to be a celebratory banquet, but with Nidian's death, it was cancelled. The entire ancient house Feng fell into sorrow. Feng Tianlin sent Feng Shuyang to the west room. Although Feng Shuyang was under house arrest and wasn't allowed to go out, Feng Tianlin was still allowed to visit. Therefore, after Feng Tianlin sent Feng Shuyang in, he directly sat opposite Feng Shuyang. Shipang, tell me, are you the one who killed Nidian? Feng Tianlin was also curious, so he lowered his voice and asked, tell me the truth. I will never harm you. Dad, don't you know my personality? If I had harmed him back then, why would I have gone to ask for the Great Recover pill for him? Shipian smiled bitterly, but the whole family doesn't believe me now, they all think that I killed Nidian. But why did I kill him? I risked my life to ask for the pill to save him, and then I killed him, didn't I have nothing better to do? Plus, he's a cripple now, there's no conflict of interest between us. If I killed him, wouldn't I be looking for trouble for myself? That's true, I think so too, but your grandpa already suspects you. Feng Tianlin sighed, this doesn't seem to be done by Tianhu, so who did it? Dad, I do have a suspect. Feng Shuyang calmed down and thought about it carefully, thinking of some clues. Feng Tianlin was overjoyed and quickly asked. As long as they could find the suspect, Feng Shuyang's crime would be cleared, and Feng Shuyang might even get back his position as the heir of the house. Nidian himself. Feng Shuyang said word by word. What? Nidian himself? Feng Tianlin was taken aback. How could it be him? When I came in, his face didn't look normal and he said a bunch of weird things to me. With that, Feng Shuyang repeated what Nidian said to him. If that's the case, it's possible that Feng Nidian took the poison himself and framed you. Feng Tianlin was enlightened, but where did Feng Nidian get the poison from? And he doesn't have hands, how did he take it? I'm afraid it's third uncle's cooperation. Feng Shuyang thought about it and analyzed. Nidian probably had the poison in his mouth, and that's why his face looked weird, but he didn't take it, so the poison didn't act up. Maybe third uncle used his pure qi to suppress it, so he was able to hold on for a while, and then he drank water and swallowed most of the poison in his mouth, and that's why he died. The poison on this cup was smeared on Nidian's lips. Although we've analyzed it, what's the point? Feng Tianlin couldn't help but sigh. Your grandpa won't believe you. Nitian's dead and there's no proof. If you keep talking about this, he'll think that you're making it up to get out of this. Dad, it's fine, I'll stay here, I'll just treat it as training. Feng Shiyang was quite open-minded, and he could only take it one step at a time. And don't worry, Shiyang, I'll do my best to get you out of this, Feng Tianlin said. At the same time, in Feng Qianlin's place, Feng Qianhu appeared. Just when everyone thought that Feng Qianhu was going to carry Nitian's body back and cry his heart out, Feng Qianhu appeared here. Sister-in-law? Feng Qianhu's face, other than the pain from before, was now extremely dark. He walked in front of a noble lady and called out, Tianhu? Why are you here? The noble lady was startled. She was Feng Shiyang's mother, Dongfang Xiaocui. Just now, the news of Feng Shiyang killing Nitian had reached Dongfang Xiaocui through her servants, so she was surprised to see Feng Qianhu here. Are you here to punish me? Chapter 3057. What, Qianhu, what do you want to say? Dongfang Xiaocui asked. I know my life is over. I don't have anything left to think about. I want to take revenge on Shirshan, but I don't dare. Even if I dare to offend Big Brother, I don't dare to offend you. Feng Qianhu said, right now, I just want to avenge Nitian and let him rest in peace. I also know that Shirshan is the only bloodline left in the Feng family. No matter what, father won't do anything to him. So, Nitian died for nothing. I said, Tianhu, what do you want to say? Dongfang Xiaocui wasn't happy with her husband protecting Su Shihan, but Shirshan was her son. Of course, she wasn't happy that Feng Qianhu was talking about her son. Even if they used to work together, she wouldn't be nice to Feng Qianhu. Are you complaining to me? So what if Shirshan killed him? He's the grandson of the Dongfang family, how can you punish him just because you say so? To be honest, the Feng family doesn't have that ability. Of course. Sister-in-law, I didn't say I want to deal with Shirshan. Feng Qianhu said bitterly, Sister-in-law, let me finish. I mean, I can't do anything to Shirshan, but I want to deal with my second brother. You want to deal with Tianlin? Do you think that's possible? Dongfang Xiaocui naturally liked Feng Tianlin. If it wasn't for that, why would she be so jealous and want to kill Su Shihan and her mother? No, what I mean is, I want to deal with Su Shihan. As long as Su Shihan dies, my second brother will definitely be sad. Then I'll achieve my goal. Feng Qianhu said, I just want him to be sad. I lost a child, so he has to die too. Otherwise, the hatred in my heart won't be appeased. Oh? You mean you want to deal with Su Shihan? Dongfang Xiaocui paused. She wasn't as conflicted as before. She nodded, then what do you plan to do? Feng Qianhu's suggestion moved Dongfang Xiaocui. After all, Su Shihan was someone she had always wanted to kill. Feng Tianlin secretly cared about Su Shihan, and it made Dongfang Xiaocui very angry. How could she let go of such an opportunity? Besides, Nitian was most likely killed by his own son, Feng Shipian. If Feng Qianhu refused to let it go, even the Dongfang family wouldn't be able to interfere with the Feng family's matters. After all, this was their private matter. Dongfang Xiaocui was just trying to scare Feng Qianhu. Now, Feng Qianhu said that killing Su Shihan would appease his anger, a life for a life. This couldn't be any better. Thinking of this, Dongfang Xiaocui nodded. To be honest, she was also afraid that Feng Qianhu would pester Feng Shipian about the murder. The barefooted were not afraid of those who wore shoes. If Feng Qianhu went crazy and wanted to blow things up, then Feng Shipian would probably lose a layer of skin even if he didn't die. This was not what Dongfang Xiaocui wanted to see. Before. She was a little wary of working with Feng Qianhu. Although Dongfang Xiaocui was jealous, she still knew how to protect her son. How could Dongfang Xiaocui not know that Nitian wanted to fight for the young head position? So when working with Feng Qianhu, she always held back. But it was different now. Feng Nitian was dead, and Feng Shipian was the only third-generation descendant of House Feng. In the future, Elder Feng would definitely choose him as the young head. This was why Dongfang Xiaocui was willing to work with Feng Qianhu calmly. Second sister-in-law, you know that Nitian has just died. Second brother will definitely be on guard against me. Once I mobilize the Feng family's men, he will definitely find out. At that time, I'm afraid that it will be self-defeating. Big brother will find out about our plan before we even take action. So, I'm thinking if we can let the Dongfang family take action this time? Feng Qianhu's plan was to let Dongfang family deal with Su Shihan, and when Su Shihan died, Feng Tianlin would know that his wife killed his daughter. Then there would definitely be a gap between him and Dongfang Xiaocui, and it would disturb his mental state. That would be the first blow. The second blow was that after killing Su Shihan, Feng Tianhu wouldn't give up. After so many years of careful investigation, he had found out about Feng Tianlin's first love. The second step was to let Dongfang Xiaocui's people take action and kill Feng Tianlin's first love. If he killed Feng Tianlin's first love first, then after Feng Tianlin and Dongfang Xiaocui's relationship turned sour, Dongfang Xiaocui might let Su Shihan go. After all, that bitch was already dead, leaving only a child. She couldn't compete with Dongfang Xiaocui for anything. Plus, she was a girl and wouldn't threaten Feng Shipian's position in the family. Dongfang Xiaocui might let it go in order to not make Feng Tianlin angry. However, Feng Tianlin's first love was different. Even if Feng Tianlin and Dongfang Xiaocui had a bad relationship because of Su Shihan, Dongfang Xiaocui would still kill Su Shihan's mother. Feng Tianhu had already grasped Dongfang Xiaocui's jealousy very well. This woman would never allow Su Shihan's mother to live. Since they've already fallen out with Feng Tianlin, if Su Shihan's mother didn't die and let Feng Tianlin and her get back together, then what would Dongfang Xiaocui do? However, when Dongfang Xiaocui made her move the second time, Feng Tianhu would intentionally or unintentionally leak the news to Feng Tianlin. Although Feng Tianlin knew about it, he couldn't stop it. The only thing he could do was to send someone to stop it. Who should he send? In the ancient Feng family, Feng Tianlin was the same as Feng Tianhu. There was a limit to the number of masters he could use. The stronger masters were all controlled by old man Feng. Feng Tianlin couldn't personally protect Su Shihan's mother, so he could only send Feng Shipian. This way he could pretend to cooperate with Dongfang Xiaocui and send people or hire assassins from Yellow Spring sect to kill Feng Shipian. This was the third attack. Su Shihan's mother, and Feng Shipian were all dead. Feng Tianhu didn't believe that no matter how strong Feng Tianlin was, he would still have the heart to care about some family matters. As long as he was dispirited, then Feng Tianhu could take advantage of the situation and find a suitable opportunity to push his son, Feng Yiran, in front of old Master Feng and let Feng Yiran succeed. After Feng Yiran ascended and became the successor of the young patriarch, wouldn't the position of the young patriarch belong to him, Feng Tianhu? Chapter 30-58. This plan was closely linked to each other. It could not be said that it was not sinister. However, with Dongfang Xiaocui's intelligence, she would never have thought of so much. She would never have thought that her crazy jealousy would cause her to cooperate with Feng Tianhu and personally prepare to push her son and husband into the abyss. From Dongfang Xiaocui's perspective, no one would be able to threaten her position if they were all dead. Dongfang family? That's not impossible. Dongfang Xiaocui thought about it. But if you let Dongfang family do it, you have to keep it a secret. I don't want Tianlin to know that it was me. Of course, sister-in-law, we've worked together so many times. You still don't trust me? Don't worry, as long as Su Shihan is dead, then the scar in my heart will be healed. I won't have anything to worry about anymore. I won't stop Shimei from taking over. And you said it. I'll remember it. If you go back on your words, our Dongfang family won't let you go. Dongfang Xiaocui threatened. Of course. Feng Tianhu laughed coldly inside. Dongfang family? No matter how strong you were, you wouldn't start a war with the ancient Feng family for Dongfang Xiaocui's daughter. After all, every ancient family or sect had their own rules. If an outsider interfered, didn't that mean that anyone could interfere? These rules were all hidden and no one would break them. Alright, I got it. I'll arrange for a few Earth-class late-phase peak masters to go. Dongfang Xiaocui said. That's good. Sister-in-law, I'll be leaving now. Feng Tianhu didn't dare linger. If Feng Tianlin came back and saw him plotting with Dongfang Xiaocui, then his plan wouldn't be able to continue. Feng Tianlin came back not long after Feng Tianhu left. Dongfang Xiaocui put down her phone and pretended to be very concerned. Tianlin, I heard that something happened to Shimei. What happened? Is she alright? Don't worry, I'll take care of it. Feng Tianlin clearly didn't want to say too much. He still didn't trust Dongfang Xiaocui. This woman had brought people to beat up Su Shihan's mother. How could Feng Tianlin trust her? It was just that Dongfang Xiaocui's identity made him helpless, and Dongfang Xiaocui truly loved him. Other than Su Shihan's matter, she performed well in everything else, so Feng Tianlin had been with her until now. It's great that you're fine. Dongfang Xiaocui heaved a sigh of relief, and then she said, Tianlin, we haven't been intimate in a long time. I'm going to take a bath. Then Dongfang Xiaozui winked at Feng Tianlin and walked towards the bathroom. Dongfang Xiaozui was trying her best to please Feng Tianlin. If Su Shihan died and Feng Tianlin found out, what would Dongfang Xiaozui do? So she wanted to please Feng Tianlin in advance. Even if Feng Tianlin found out, he wouldn't be able to do anything about it. She was prepared to crazily please Feng Tianlin these few days. One had to say that Dongfang Xiaozui took good care of herself. She was the young miss of the ancient Dongfang family. The Dongfang family was also one of the strongest families in the ancient era. They also had a few face-preserving pills. Although Dongfang Xiaozui wasn't a sky-class master, she still used the pill, so she was still quite beautiful. She also had the elegance and charm of a mature woman. That flirtatious look made Feng Tianlin's lower body burn. Feng Tianlin wasn't in a good mood. It was good to vent it out with Dongfang Xiaozui. He took a deep breath and took off his clothes, preparing to take a bath. But at this time, Dongfang Xiaozui's phone rang. Doo-doo. If it was any other time, Feng Tianlin wouldn't be in the mood to look at Dongfang Xiaozui's phone. But today, maybe because he was in a bad mood, he picked up Dongfang Xiaozui's phone and read the message. Got it, little sister. I've been wanting to send people to deal with her for a long time. Not Weak is interested in her. I'll let Not Weak bring people to deal with her. We'll play with her first, then kill her. The person who replied was Dongfang Xiaozui's big brother, Dongfang Jinxing. Not Weak was his younger son, Dongfang Bushui. His eldest son, Dongfang Bushui, died in the Heavenly Elixir sex trial. Feng Tianlin knew about it, but he didn't have much contact with the Dongfang family, so he didn't ask much. But at this moment, Dongfang Jinxing's message made Feng Tianlin confused. Who was Dongfang Bushui interested in? Who was he going to deal with? What, play with her first, then kill her? Out of curiosity, Feng Tianlin read the text messages between Dongfang Xiaozui and Dongfang Jinxing. However, as soon as he read them, cold sweat started dripping down his forehead. His eyes were spitting fire. The text messages from before had infuriated him to no end. Because the previous message was Dongfang Xiaozui asking Dongfang Jinxing to deal with Su Shihan. She even asked Dongfang Jinxing to send a group of Earth-class masters to deal with Su Shihan. This made Feng Tianlin sweat. Dongfang Xiaozui? Feng Tianlin's eyes were spitting fire. Although the message wasn't much, it was a big deal. Feng Tianlin's previous thoughts were all gone. He owed Su Shihan a lot. Plus, as the young master, he couldn't let Su Shihan return to the Feng family. He couldn't let her return to the Feng family. He couldn't let her return to the family. Now that Feng Tianlin knew that Dongfang Xiaozui wanted to kill Su Shihan, he was furious. He didn't take good care of Su Shihan. He couldn't give her fatherly love. He even caused her to be separated from her mother at a young age. Her mother's life and death were unknown. This was enough to make Feng Tianlin sad. How could he tolerate what happened today? While Feng Tianlin was fuming with anger, Dongfang Xiaozui had already finished her shower and walked out of the bathroom. She didn't know that Feng Tianlin already knew about her plan to assassinate Su Shihan. She even said to Feng Tianlin gently, "Tianlin, it's your turn to shower, I'll wait for you on the bed." Wait for my daughter to be killed by you? Feng Tianlin said coldly. Tianlin. What are you talking about? What do you mean by your daughter being killed? Dongfang Xiaozui jumped in fright. Her face turned pale. But she still argued, Tianlin, I don't understand what you're talking about. Didn't we agree that we were going to make out? Chapter 3059. Dongfang Xiaozui was completely dumbfounded. She was actually a woman without a mind of her own. Even if she wanted to kill someone, she didn't know how to hide it. She thought that Feng Tianlin wouldn't see her message, but she didn't expect him to really see it. She didn't know how to explain herself. Dongfang Xiaozui, I know that you've always wanted to kill Su Shihan, but she's innocent. No matter what, she's my daughter. She doesn't even know about all this. Why can't you tolerate her? She can't threaten your position and she can't threaten Feng Shipian's position. Why do you have to chase after her? What Tianhu did before, I'm afraid it has something to do with you, right? Feng Tianlin wasn't stupid. He knew that Feng Tianhu was behind Su Shihan's assassination, but it was impossible to say that Dongfang Xiaozui wasn't involved. I'm sorry, Tianlin. Dongfang Xiaozui hated Su Shihan, but she didn't want to ruin the relationship between husband and wife. Feng Tianlin's words made her feel that Su Shihan's death wouldn't affect anything. A girl couldn't compete with Feng Shipian for the head of the house, and she wasn't Feng Tianlin's lover either. She was just the daughter of that lover, it didn't matter. But Dongfang Xiaocui was worried about Feng Shihan's safety, so she could only tell Feng Tianlin why she wanted to kill Su Shihan. Tianlin, listen to me, I'm doing this for Shihan? For Shipian? Feng Tianlin frowned and asked coldly, what do you mean? What does it have to do with Shipian? Let's see what excuses you can come up with. It's like this. Tianhu said that Shipian killed Nidian, and he said that he wants to pay with his life. He wants to kill one of your children before he can be at ease. As long as Su Shihan is dead, he won't pursue Shipian's crime anymore. Dongfang Xiaocui didn't dare hide anything and said what Feng Tianhu said. What a woman. Feng Tianlin didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but he was more angry. You believe what he said, do you have a brain? Feng Nidian wasn't killed by Feng Shipian. It wasn't a big deal in the first place. Even if he killed them, father wouldn't be able to do anything to him. He's the only bloodline left in the ancient Feng family. If he died, our ancient Feng family would be finished. Do you think that's possible? Dongfang Xiaocui stammered, not knowing what to say. Tell your brother to cancel this plan right now. Feng Tianlin yelled. Oh, okay. Dongfang Xiaocui quickly picked up her phone and dialed her brother Dongfang Jingxing's number. Little sister, did you receive my message? I told the old man about this matter and he agreed. You should know that the old man doesn't care about his grandson anymore, he is very fond of him. He decided not to send an Earth rank expert and directly sent an early Heaven rank expert. How about it? You should be relieved now, right? Su Shihan, that little bitch, is dead for sure. Dongfang Jingxing picked up the phone and said excitedly before Dongfang Xiaocui could say anything. Dongfang Xiaocui froze and quickly said, Big brother, cancel this plan, don't kill Su Shihan, don't send anyone. Little sister, what do you mean? Why did you cancel it? Dongfang Jingxing paused. Big brother, Tianlin found out. I don't want to fight with him, so cancel it. Dongfang Xiaocui still cared a lot about Feng Tianlin. Little sister, I'm telling you, Buqiu already knows about this and so does our father. He's already ordered to send people, but you suddenly cancelled it. Do you think Buqiu will just let it go? Do you think that father's words are just for show? Dongfang Jingxing changed the topic. I'm sure you know father's character, right? He's a man of his word and no one can refute his words. Neither you nor I can. Besides, after Buqiu goes, the old man loves Buqiu a lot. Even if Buqiu wants the stars in the sky, the old man will think of a way. Do you think Buqiu will stop just because you cancelled it? You aroused his interest, the old man will make his wish come true no matter what. This? Dongfang Xiaocui was dumbfounded. She understood Dongfang Jingxing's words. She knew the old man Dongfang's personality very well. Once the old man Dongfang made up his mind, he wouldn't change it. Moreover, it involved Dongfang Buqiu. This meant that the matter was set in stone, and there was no way to change it. Okay, little sister, you talk to brother-in-law. It's just an illegitimate daughter, let it go. He doesn't want the old man to be unhappy, right? Dongfang Jingxing said, if there's nothing else, I'll hang up. You try to persuade him. Okay. Dongfang Xiaocui was helpless and could only hang up. The room was very quiet, so Feng Tianlin heard the conversation between Dongfang Jingxing and Dongfang Xiaocui clearly. He was a little lost. He didn't expect things to develop to this point. Now that old Master Dongfang had intervened, it wasn't something normal people could do anything about. Unless old Master Feng could make a phone call and mediate, there was no turning back. But the main problem was that Feng Tianlin couldn't ask old Master Feng for help. Su Shihan hadn't returned to the family and she was a girl. Old Master Feng couldn't offend old Master Dongfang for her. Also, when Feng Shipian was poisoning Nidian, Feng Tianlin and old Master Feng wouldn't ask old Master Feng for help no matter what. Tianlin, I've tried my best, but my father, you know. Dongfang Xiaocui looked at Feng Tianlin weakly. Feng Tianlin was so angry that he snorted coldly. You can't do anything right, old woman? Tianlin, I'm wrong? Dongfang Xiaocui could only apologize carefully. Wrong? What's the use of being wrong? Feng Tianlin waved his hand impatiently and left the room. He was very annoyed. This matter was ruined by Dongfang Xiaocui, and since he couldn't change it, he had to think of a countermeasure. Chapter 3060. So for this matter, either Feng Shipian did it himself, or he had to find a powerful bodyguard for Su Shihan. San Huang was obviously not qualified. His strength was child's play in front of a heaven-class master. But Feng Shipian couldn't leave the Feng family. If he did, people who didn't know would think that he ran away. So Feng Tianlin could only help Su Shihan find a bodyguard through other channels. Feng Tianlin more or less understood Dong Feng Burui's personality. This kid was a devil incarnate. If he couldn't get what he wanted, then he would continue to pester others. So, if Su Shihan didn't have a powerful bodyguard, then she would be in danger. But where could he find a heaven-class master to be a bodyguard? It had to be known that heaven stage experts had their own pride. Which heaven stage expert would be a bodyguard for a singer from the secular world? Even if this singer was the illegitimate daughter of the ancient Feng family, it was still not enough. Those heaven rank experts were all hanger-ons of some clans. Letting them carry out a mission once in a while and giving them the corresponding benefits was enough. But letting them be a bodyguard by one person's side, this was something that Feng Shipian couldn't do. Perhaps only when Old Master Feng personally gave the order would a few heaven-ranked elders of the family be allowed to become bodyguards. Feng Tianlin didn't have that power. However, Feng Tianlin had no other choice. He could only try anything in a desperate situation. He knew of a mission posting platform in the secular world. With an attitude of giving it a try, Feng Tianlin filled in his requirements on it. Bodyguard Heaven-class Master. The protected target can follow the bodyguard. Move around in the city where the bodyguard is active. Monthly salary of 100 million. After thinking for a while, Feng Tianlin changed his requirements again and again. He tried to make the requirements as loose as possible. He knew that Heaven-class masters had pride and temper. It wasn't realistic to expect him to follow behind Su Shihan as a bodyguard. He could only let Su Shihan follow by her side. Let Su Shihan move her work to the city where the Heaven-class masters could move around. This was also a form of respect to the Heaven-class master. And the monthly salary of 100 million seemed like an astronomical figure, but it wasn't high at all. Which family's hangers-on didn't take up more than this amount of resources? 100 million was still a small amount. It's just that he didn't know if heaven-rank powerhouses would be able to see this kind of mission posting platform in the secular world. But Feng Tianlin was extremely anxious, so he could only use this method to post the mission. After all, in the ancient era, only the blood-clothed Yellow Spring sect could be hired. Although it was possible to hire them to kill people, it was impossible to hire them as bodyguards. However, what surprised Feng Tianlin was that in less than half an hour after his mission was posted, there was actually a response. The phone number he left actually rang. If the possibility of a wrong number was ruled out, this call was definitely from the person who had accepted the mission. This was because this was an infrequent phone number. There were almost no people who knew this phone number. Moreover, a call came in not long after the phone was turned on, so it could only be through the mission release platform. Thinking of this, Feng Tianlin picked up the phone excitedly. "Hello. It's Mr. Su, right?" A deep male voice came from the other side of the phone. "Yes, it's me." Feng Tianlin was even more excited. Mr. Su was a surname he casually made up on the mission posting website. It seemed that the other party was indeed calling for this matter. "I can accept the mission conditions you proposed, but the monthly salary is a little low. Increase it a little." The other party went straight to the point. Feng Tianlin also knew that 100 million was really not a lot for a heaven-rank powerhouse, but he didn't have much private money either. He couldn't let the ancient Feng family pay for it, right? So, after hesitating for a moment, he said, "How about 150 million? Okay, 150 million, but I have to add some cultivation resources. Whatever I need, you have to do your best to help me find it." The other party thought about it and agreed. "This is not a problem. As long as you do your best to protect my daughter, finding some cultivation resources is not a problem." Feng Tianlin agreed readily. To him, finding cultivation resources was easier than asking him to pay another 50 million. "Then there's no problem. I'll accept your mission now." The other party said. "Wait, how can I believe you? Are you a heaven-rank powerhouse?" Feng Tianlin asked with some hesitation. It wasn't that Feng Tianlin was suspicious, but things were going too smoothly. Not long after he posted the mission, someone answered, and he even met the conditions. One must know that Feng Tianlin was looking for a heaven-rank powerhouse, not an ordinary assassin. He actually found one just like that? It made him feel a little unbelievable. "I'm not a heaven-rank powerhouse, but the person I sent is a heaven-rank powerhouse in the early stage," the other party said. "That's fine, but let's make it clear that if it's not a heaven-rank powerhouse in the early stage, I won't fulfill my promise." Feng Tianlin was afraid of encountering a scammer, so he declared in advance. Anyway, although Feng Sanhuang wasn't a very powerful master, he could distinguish a heaven-rank powerhouse. If the other party was a fake, Feng Sanhuang wouldn't confirm it, and Feng Tianlin wouldn't transfer the money to him. Okay, pay after we meet. The other party said very straightforwardly. Okay, then how do we contact him? Feng Tianlin asked. I will let him call you to set up a location. The other party said, okay, I'll accept your mission. After that, the other party hung up the phone, and Feng Tianlin also saw that on the computer, the mission he posted was also accepted by someone. Feng Tianlin subconsciously clicked on the level and credibility of the person who accepted the mission, but when he saw it, he was shocked. The mission completion rate was actually 100%, and it was the highest level crown assassin in the mission commission network. Could it be true? Although Feng Tianlin didn't believe that a heaven-rank powerhouse could appear in a mission commission network in the secular world, this person didn't seem to be a scammer. Such a high level. With a 100% mission completion rate, there was no need to ruin his reputation because of this mission. After all, 150 million was not a small amount, but it wasn't a lot either. Many of the assassination missions here could reach tens of millions of rewards. Since this person had such a high mission completion rate, he definitely wasn't someone who hadn't seen money before. Therefore, Feng Tianlin was full of confidence in this bodyguard. Chapter 3061. After all, this matter was caused by Dongfang Xiaocui. Feng Tianlin wanted Feng Shipian to be more vigilant. The only thing that made Feng Tianlin happy was that Dongfang Xiaocui was an idiot, but Feng Shipian wasn't. Although he looked gentle, he was actually a very shrewd person. Arriving at Feng Shipian's room, Feng Tianlin quickly opened the door and walked in. Dad, you're here. Feng Shipian didn't feel that being under house arrest was a kind of torture. Instead, he cultivated peacefully. Seeing that Feng Tianlin came, Feng Shipian nodded to him and continued to cultivate. Shipian, there's something I need to tell you. Can you help me analyze it? What precautions should I take? Feng Tianlin could see that Feng Shipian wasn't an ordinary person after Feng Shipian returned safely from the Heavenly Elixir sex trial. Although he was a good person, he wasn't a good person. Oh, what's wrong? Or is it because of the heaven-defying matter? Feng Shipian quickly stopped cultivating and looked up. It's like this, your mother, that old woman, can't do anything right. She's causing trouble for me. Feng Tianlin said angrily, it's like this. When Feng Shipian heard about his mother's actions, he furrowed his brows. He didn't approve of his mother's actions, but he could only smile helplessly and say, Father, don't be angry. It's not like you don't know that mother is like this. You understood this from the day you married her. Sigh. Yeah, if I wasn't too weak, I would have rejected the marriage, but Feng Tianlin was a weak person compared to Feng Tianlong. His brother Feng Tianlong rejected the marriage and went to find his true love. This was something Feng Tianlin envied, but he didn't dare to do. But now it was too late for him to regret. It was too late for him to regret. He could only take it one step at a time. Fortunately, I have you as my son. You didn't disappoint me. This was the only thing Feng Tianlin was glad about. Dad, let's not talk about this first. How are you going to deal with it? Feng Shipian waved his hand and asked Feng Tianlin. Sister Shirhan is in danger. The opponent is an early-stage heaven-class master. Only I can deal with it personally. But I can't leave now. If I want to leave, I'm afraid second uncle won't agree. I can't take it either. This is also what I wanted to discuss with you. Feng Tianlin said, it's like this, I found a bodyguard for Shipian. This bodyguard is an early-stage heaven rank expert? What? Heaven rank initial stage? Dad, are you kidding me? How could an early-stage heaven rank powerhouse be someone else's bodyguard? Feng Shipian suddenly felt that this matter was absolutely impossible, because wasn't it too ridiculous? Which heaven stage early-stage expert doesn't cultivate well? And to earn money from being a bodyguard in the secular world? Even if he had to work for others, it would be to become a follower of a large clan and obtain some cultivation resources. At first, I also found it strange. But the other party said it so confidently. Then Feng Tianlin told Feng Shipian everything that had happened. When Feng Shishou heard this, he also felt that it was a little strange. He didn't look like a swindler, but I still couldn't figure it out. This matter was probably not that reliable. According to what you said, even if this person is an early-stage heaven rank expert, he is only a loose cultivator. It is impossible for him to deal with an early-stage heaven rank expert from the Dongfang clan. You have to know that at the heaven rank level, the gap between practitioners is very obvious, especially between loose cultivators and practitioners from aristocratic families. You're right. Feng Tianlin couldn't help but frown. Indeed, Feng Shipian was right. How could the heaven stage experts of the secular world be the same as the heaven stage experts of the ancient sects? Not to mention the secular world, even an ancient sect's heaven rank expert was different from a hidden aristocratic family's heaven rank expert. Thinking of this, Feng Tianlin, who had just heaved a sigh of relief, became nervous again. Then what should we do? Shipian, this is the only method I can think of now. It is not realistic to find a powerful heaven rank expert in a short period of time. I have a suitable candidate, but I'm not sure if he'll be willing to help. Feng Shipian hesitated for a moment before speaking. Although he was a little embarrassed to ask for help, he had no choice but to do so for the sake of his sister. Who is it? Feng Tianlin quickly asked. Boss Lin. Feng Shipian said. Lin? Feng Tianlin was slightly stunned. Yes. If Boss Lin can make a move, then killing that early stage heaven rank expert in a second won't be a problem. Feng Shipian nodded and said with certainty, Boss Lin could instantly kill a mid-stage heaven rank expert when he was at the peak late stage of Earth class. Now that he is at the early stage, dealing with an early stage heaven rank expert won't be a problem. Shipian, can you invite Mr. Lin Yi? Feng Tianlin heard Feng Shipian's words and immediately realized that Lin Yi was the most suitable candidate. A normal early stage heaven rank expert was definitely not a match for the Dongfang family's early stage heaven rank expert, but Lin Yi could instantly kill them. Even a higher level heaven rank expert wouldn't be a problem for Lin Yi. If such a powerful person was invited, wouldn't Su Shihan be safe? I'll try, but I don't have full confidence. Feng Shipian hesitated for a moment and said, Okay, then immediately call Mr. Lin Yi. As for the reward, we will not miss a single cent. If he has any conditions, just say it. Feng Tianlin quickly said, I'll call him now. Feng Shipian nodded and took the phone from Feng Tianlin. He dialed Lin Yi's number, but Lin Yi's line was busy. At this moment, Lin Yi was receiving a call from Old Lin. Little E, I received a mission for you. Old Lin's voice sounded from the other side of the phone. Oh, what mission? Old Lin's random words made Lin Yi, who had just picked up the phone, startled. He didn't know what Old Lin was talking about. I say, old man, what are you talking about? Little E, didn't you ask me to help you get a mission? Do you want to earn money? Old Lin asked in return. Could it be that you don't lack money now? I do. What mission? Lin Yi suddenly remembered that he did ask Old Lin to help him get a mission. It was just that Lin Yi had been at ease for too long and didn't realize it. Chapter 3062. Bodyguard? Lin Yi frowned slightly. This is a long-term mission. Although the reward is quite high, aren't there any short-term assassination missions? Although it seems that I don't have any enemies for the time being, I'm still worried about leaving the East Ocean Mansion for a long time. Don't worry, I've already considered this for you. The other party's mission requirements are very simple. They only require the bodyguard to be a heaven stage master, and the target to be protected can accommodate the bodyguard and follow the bodyguard to the bodyguard city. This way you don't have to leave East Ocean City and can directly complete the mission here. Old Lin explained. There's such a good thing? Lin Yi was a little surprised. However, since the other party requires the bodyguard to be a heaven stage master, the target to be protected must not be simple, right? This mission shouldn't be that easy to complete, right? The enemy that I have to deal with is probably not weak, right? I'm not sure about this. I'll tell you the other party's phone number, and you can discuss the details with him. Old Lin said. Moreover, in addition to a fixed monthly salary, you can also ask for some cultivation resources from him. The other party agreed without hesitation. I guess the identity of the other party is not simple. Okay, I got it, old man. Send me his phone number. Lin Yi nodded. Although this mission was definitely not simple, Lin Yi was in need of money. This mission was very suitable. He didn't have to leave East Ocean City to complete the mission, so why not? Lin Yi hung up the phone and waited for Old Lin's text. However, during this time Lin Yi's phone rang again. Lin Yi thought it was still Old Lin calling. However, when he looked at the caller ID, it was actually an unfamiliar number. Hello. Hello. Lin Yi picked up the phone politely because he didn't know the person on the other side. Boss, it's me. I'm Feng Shipian. On the other side of the phone, a voice that Lin Yi was familiar with came. This call was naturally from Feng Shipian. Previously, Lin Yi's phone didn't go through. He dialed again and again until Lin Yi and Old Lin ended the call. The first thing he did was to call Lin Yi. Poems? Lin Yi was slightly surprised by Feng Shipian's call. In his opinion, after Feng Shipian went back, it would be difficult to contact him. Long time no see. How have you been? Boss, I'm calling this time because I need your help with something. After saying this, Qin Feng's face darkened. Even Feng Shipian himself felt a little embarrassed. He hadn't contacted Lin Yi for a long time. As soon as he contacted her, he wanted to ask for Lin Yi's help. This made Feng Shipian a little embarrassed. What is it? Tell me. Lin Yi was straightforward. Lin Yi had always treated these little brothers very well. Lin Yi was straightforward. This made Feng Shipian even more embarrassed. However, Feng Shipian had no choice. If he didn't ask Lin Yi, he really didn't know who to ask. He could only bite the bullet and said, Boss Lin Yi, it's like this. I want to ask you to protect someone's safety. What? Ask me to protect someone's safety? Lin Yi was stunned. Wasn't this too much of a coincidence? Old man Lin had just accepted a mission to be his bodyguard, and Feng Shipian came to ask for his help? If it were any other time, Lin Yi would naturally agree. However, now that Lin Yi had accepted the mission, how could Lin Yi agree? Therefore Lin Yi was in a dilemma. He wanted to refuse, but it wasn't good for him to refuse. Boss, don't worry. The reward will not be a penny less. Feng Shipian heard Lin Yi's shocked tone and quickly added. Shipian, it's not that I don't want to promise you, but I have other things to do. I have to protect someone else's safety. I'm afraid I can't promise you. Lin Yi said with a bitter smile, this is a coincidence. I see. Feng Shipian was a little disappointed, but he didn't force it. Since Lin Yi said that he had something to do and had to protect someone else, what else could Feng Shipian say? He could only say, it doesn't matter. I'll think of another way. Boss, you go ahead. Okay. Lin Yi also said apologetically, there's really no other way this time. After hanging up the phone, Feng Shipian smiled bitterly and conveyed Lin Yi's words to Feng Tianlin. After Feng Tianlin heard it, he was also a little disappointed. He didn't understand Lin Yi, so he said to Feng Shipian, Shipian, maybe Mr. Lin Yi didn't want to help, so he found an excuse? How can there be such a coincidence? Dad, you don't understand Lin Yi, boss. Boss Lin Yi must have something to do. It's not what you think. Feng Shipian understood Lin Yi, so he defended Lin Yi. Forget it. Let's put our hopes on my bodyguard. Feng Tianlin smiled non-committally, but he didn't argue with Feng Shipian. Feng Shipian still wanted to explain something, but at this moment Feng Tianlin's phone rang again. Lin Yi didn't lie to Feng Shipian. Old man Lin gave him the task and he had to execute it. Otherwise, it would affect Old man Lin's credibility as a manager. This task was actually posted by Feng Tianlin himself. It was just that Lin Yi didn't know about it, and neither did Feng Tianlin and Feng Shipian. However, because the phone number that Feng Tianlin gave to Old man Lin was not the same phone number that Feng Shipian used just now, Lin Yi didn't realize that these two people were the same person. He still followed the agreement and dialed Feng Tianlin's number to discuss the specific details of the task. Hello. Feng Tianlin didn't know Lin Yi's number, so he picked up the phone without thinking much. Is this Mr. Su? Lin Yi asked politely. It's me. You are. Feng Tianlin also guessed that the person who called was most likely the bodyguard he found on the task commission website. I am the bodyguard you are looking for. Lin Yi said, now, I want to confirm the specific details. Okay, Mr. Bodyguard, please speak. Feng Tianlin didn't know Lin Yi's surname, so he could only call him Mr. Bodyguard. First of all, I want to confirm the gender, age, occupation and lifestyle of the person to be protected. Lin Yi asked. Since it is a cooperation, then I won't hide it from you. Feng Tianlin said, the person you need to protect is a girl. She is 20 years old this year and she is a celebrity. Chapter 3063. I will ask her to cancel it as much as possible. If she really can't cancel it, I will discuss with you in advance. What do you think? Feng Tianlin asked. To be honest, Lin Yi didn't want to be a celebrity's bodyguard. If she was a celebrity, she couldn't live in his villa. After all, she was a public figure. Whether she was willing to live with him or not was another matter. Moreover, Lin Yi had to follow the celebrity around for activities. However, the employer said that he could ask the celebrity to cancel the activities as much as possible. It seemed that she wasn't a big celebrity. It shouldn't be a problem for them to live together. Thus, he said, for the safety of the protected, I hope she can live with me. Can you do this? Live together? Feng Tianlin wasn't afraid of anything else. He was just afraid that Lin Yi would steal what he was guarding. His daughter was a big celebrity. An old moat that leads to the latent locust tree, denouncing the frequent coaxing of the common people, Where can one go to reason? The other party was a heaven-class master. It's for the convenience of protecting her. After all, if she doesn't live here, I'll have to live with her. It's just a matter of getting used to it. Linny didn't know about Feng Tianlin's concerns. He thought that Feng Tianlin wasn't used to it. After all, Linny didn't even know what the celebrity looked like. Maybe she was ugly? Linny knew that some celebrities were even worse than ordinary people after removing their makeup. So Linny didn't have that kind of thought at all. This is true. Feng Tianlin thought about it carefully. It was true. He found a bodyguard for Su Shihan. If they didn't stay together at night, how could the Dongfang family protect his daughter? Thinking of this, Feng Tianlin nodded and said, "That's fine. But is there anyone else at your place? I'm afraid my daughter won't be used to it." Yes. Linny was a little impatient. He accepted this task. It was just that he lacked money. But he was a heaven-class master. He still had some temper. "Mr. Su, since you want a heaven-class master, you should be considered as someone in the cultivation world. Don't you think that it's good enough that I'm protecting your daughter? What is there to be picky about?" This? Feng Tianlin smiled bitterly. Indeed. The person he hired wasn't an ordinary bodyguard, but a heaven-ranked master. He couldn't treat him like a normal bodyguard. Thinking of this, Feng Tianlin quickly apologized. "I'm sorry, Mr. Bodyguard, I'm just thinking for my daughter, please forgive me." "All right, you can let your daughter or someone close to her contact me directly," Linny said. "All right. How should I address you, sir?" Feng Tianlin asked. "Lingy, this is my phone number. You should be able to see it." Linny didn't leave his real name. This was the name Linny used when doing missions. Therefore Linny still used it out of habit. "All right, Mr. Lingy." Feng Tianlin nodded and hung up the phone. "Lingy?" Feng Shipian was taken aback. Why did this name sound so familiar? "Dad, let me have a look at your phone." "Oh? What's wrong?" Feng Tianlin handed the phone to Feng Shipian. Feng Shipian glanced at the number on Feng Tianlin's phone and suddenly exclaimed, "Really? Really? Boss? What boss?" Feng Tianlin was a bit confused, but he immediately reacted. "Shipian? You mean the person who called is Linny?" "Yes, this number is Boss Lin Yi's, and Ling Yi is also the name that Boss used before." Feng Shipian said excitedly, "You see, Boss does have something to do, but I never thought that he would actually accept a mission as a bodyguard." Feng Tianlin was also very surprised. He didn't think that the bodyguard he hired was actually Lin Yi. This Lin Yi wasn't an ordinary heaven-ranked master in the early stage. This was something that could be used by a heaven-ranked master in the middle stage. This time, even if the Dongfang family sent a heaven-ranked master, Feng Tianlin wouldn't be afraid. "I really didn't expect this. Is Lin Yi short of money?" Feng Tianlin asked curiously. "Short of money? Right." Feng Shipian suddenly thought of the news that he had received from Guxian before. After returning to the Feng family, although he didn't contact Lin Yi, he had been paying attention to Lin Yi. He also knew that Lin Yi's medical company had gone bankrupt. If Lin Yi was short of money, it was true. Therefore, Feng Shipian told Feng Tianlin about this matter. "AI, if that's the case, it stands to reason that I should give him more money, but my private money is only more than 300 million yuan, which is only enough to hire him for 2 months. Feng Tianlin smiled bitterly. "I want to give more, but I don't have the money." "I understand. Let's try our best. However, I really didn't expect that with Boss's help, Sister Shihan will definitely be fine." Feng Shipian breathed a sigh of relief. However, at the same time he suddenly became nervous. "No, Dad, if Boss Lin Yi kills the people sent by the Dongfang family for Sister Shihan, wouldn't he offend the Dongfang family?" This? Feng Tianlin's expression also changed slightly, and he said, "I didn't think about this before. After all, the duty of a bodyguard is to take money and eliminate disasters for others. We have paid the price. Even if the bodyguard is hated because of the Dongfang family, it has nothing to do with us. If you don't have a diamond, don't do porcelain work. This is also the rule. However, this person is Lin Yi now. If you don't make it clear, there will definitely be a gap in the future. So, Shipian, if you want to tell Lin Yi, just say it." "I support you. Dad, thank you," Feng Shipian said with some emotion. Since Feng Tianlin said so, it meant that he was prepared for Lin Yi to not do it at any time. However, Feng Shipian knew Lin Yi's character. "But Dad, don't worry. I know Boss's character. If the person being protected is my sister, Boss will only do his best. Even if he doesn't get paid, he will do it." "Okay, then you call," Feng Tianlin said. Feng Shipian picked up the phone and dialed Lin Yi's number again. but this time he used the number that Feng Tianlin had contacted Lin Yi before. Mr. Su, is there anything else? Lin Yi saw the caller ID on the mobile phone and picked up the phone. He thought that Feng Tianlin had forgotten to tell him something. Boss, it's me. Feng Shipian said quickly after hearing Lin Yi's voice. Chapter 3064. Boss, the person who called you just now was my father? Feng Shipian said weakly. The person he asked you to protect is the same person I want you to protect. No way. What a coincidence. Lin Yi felt that this was too much of a coincidence. He had just left the mountain to accept a mission, and it was actually to protect Feng Shipian's family. Yeah, I was wondering why you suddenly went to protect others. So it was for this mission. Feng Shipian said. Since it's one of us, I don't need money. Just give me some cultivation resources. Although Lin Yi was short on money, he couldn't ask for a reward for protecting Feng Shipian's family. That's fine too. Feng Shipian didn't refuse. My father has 350 million yuan. Boss, you can use it. It's not a reward. As your younger brother, I'm sponsoring you. I've heard about your company, and I'm doing my best to help you. Feng Shipian nodded and said, Boss, I'm just doing my best to help you. Alright, it would be impolite of me to refuse. Since Feng Shipian said so, Lin Yi nodded and agreed. Alright, boss, I'm calling to remind you that the people who are causing trouble for my sister are from the ancient Dongfang family. Feng Shipian said. The other party's background is very tyrannical. It's fine if you refuse, boss. After all, I don't want you to get into trouble. Ancient Dongfang family? Lin Yi's heart moved, but he still said indifferently, ancient level? It doesn't matter. I'm already a heaven rank expert, so sooner or later, I'll set foot on the ancient level. I'll take a look at the Dongfang family first. If it had been any other family, Lin Yi would have helped. However, he was afraid that Feng Shipian would also keep his identity a secret. He didn't want to become enemies with an ancient sect because of this. At the very least, he represented the ancient Feng family and hid his identity. However, the ancient Dongfang family already had enmity with Lin Yi. The death of the Dongfang elder would be traced back to Lin Yi sooner or later. Therefore, it was no longer important whether Lin Yi went against them or not. Even if Lin Yi killed a few more people from the Dongfang family, it would only make the enmity greater. If he didn't kill Elder Dongfang, the Dongfang clan wouldn't let Lin Yi off easily after learning of Elder Dongfang's death. Boss, have you made up your mind? Feng Shipian was taken aback. He didn't know what Lin Yi was thinking. He thought that Lin Yi did this for him. Of course I have. Lin Yi smiled and said, Alright, I got it. Tell your sister to contact me. It's my sister. Feng Shipian said, By the way, my father hid his surname before. Boss, don't be angry. I also hid it. It's normal to do this when we're not familiar with each other. Lin Yi said indifferently. Alright. Boss, I'll tell my father to contact my sister now. Feng Shipian felt a lot more relaxed after settling this matter, especially after Lin Yi said it. He wanted to step into the ancient realm, and going against the Dongfang clan wouldn't bring him any trouble. How was it? After Feng Shipian hung up the phone, Feng Tianlin hurriedly asked. Boss agreed. Moreover, he also knows about the Dongfang clan. However, boss isn't worried. He also wants to use the Dongfang clan to experience the ancient realm? Feng Shipian said. Feng Tianlin nodded and said with a sigh, I have to say Lin Yi's growth this year is too fast, from nothing to something. Even the noble houses and hidden houses can't stop his footsteps. I'm guessing that the ancient level is going to be another bloodbath. It's a good thing that you've established a relationship with Lin Yi early on. Perhaps, Lin Yi will be the last straw that can save us father and son. Feng Tianlin didn't really like Lin Yi at first. So when Feng Shipian returned to the clan, he thought that Feng Shipian was too impulsive to recognize a common world-wandering cultivator as his boss. However, after paying attention to him for a while, Feng Tianlin realized what kind of person Lin Yi was. A wandering cultivator destroyed a hidden house without batting an eyelid. What kind of methods and courage was this? Plus, Lin Yi was now the enemy of the everyday sect, but he was unharmed. What did this mean? All of this meant that Lin Yi had extraordinary abilities. So letting him be Su Shihan's bodyguard was a wise decision. Dad, it's great that you support me. Feng Shipian breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that Feng Tianlin didn't object to him calling him boss. This made him very happy. Of course not. Feng Tianlin smiled and said, I'll call Feng Sanhuang now and arrange it. Master. Feng Sanhuang saw Feng Tianlin's phone and quickly found a place with no one around. He picked up the phone and said quietly, "Is there anything I can do for you?" "San Huang, how is Xiaohan recently?" Feng Tianlin asked. "Master, Miss has been very safe recently. There's no danger, but because of the attack last time, Miss has been very low-key. She didn't go to other cities to participate in activities," Feng Sanhuang said. In fact, it wasn't because Su Shirhan had been low-key. The main reason was that Feng Nidian was crippled. Feng Qinhu didn't have the mood to deal with Su Shirhan anymore. He had been focusing on Feng Nidian for a while. Now that Nidian was dead, he started to deal with Su Shirhan again. But Sanhuang, there's going to be a big danger soon." Feng Tianlin said to him, "House Dongfang is preparing to deal with Xiaohan. That Dongfang is not weak. He likes Xiaohan and wants to. And they sent an early phase Sky Class Master to deal with you." "What? Early phase Sky Class Master?" Feng Sanhuang was shocked. He didn't think that Feng Qinhu would be able to send a Sky Class Master to deal with him and Su Shirhan. Could it be that there was a change in House Feng? Had Feng Qinhu taken over as the head of the house? Could it be that Feng Qinhu joined hands with House Dongfang? That can't be right. Second mistress should be on master's side. Feng Sanhuang only knew a few things about the Feng family on the surface. As for the specifics of what had happened recently, he didn't know. You don't need to know about these things. Feng Qinhu didn't take over the position. That's why House Dongfang made their move. Feng Tianlin naturally couldn't explain that it was Dongfang Xiaocui's fault. Chapter 3065. He didn't know what to do after all. A heaven-class early phase master wasn't someone he could easily deal with. So when Sanhuang heard about a heaven-class early phase master, he was a bit dumbfounded. "Sanhuang, don't worry, Shirhan has already found a bodyguard for Shirhan. It's a heaven-class early phase master," Feng Tianlin said. "You just need to think of a reason to make Shirhan accept this new bodyguard." I can do that easily." These years, Sanhuang had been by Shirhan's side, and he was deeply trusted by her, but he was still a bit worried. "Master, they are both heaven-class early phase masters. Can they be a match for Dongfang family?" "This isn't a normal heaven-class early phase, it's a heaven-class early phase master who can fight above his level. Hee, you'll know when you see him." Feng Tianlin smiled and said, "I'll send you his phone number, you can contact him directly." "What? Can fight above his level? Which ancient sect's disciple is this?" Feng Sanhuang was a little surprised. These kinds of masters weren't normal masters. They were usually important targets of the ancient sects or families. Just like Feng Nidian of House Feng, they were all people who could fight above their level. But how could this kind of person be a bodyguard for Shirhan? They were all extremely arrogant masters. You'll know when the time comes." Feng Tianlin didn't say much. "But you have to go to the city he's in and live with him. This is also the master's request." Feng Tianlin told Sanhuang about some of Lin Yi's requests and the things to pay attention to. "Okay." Although Feng Sanhuang was puzzled, he could only nod. Not long after hanging up, Sanhuang received a text from Feng Tianlin. It was a phone number, and the owner was called Ling Yi. After getting the number, Feng Sanhuang went to see Su Shirhan. "Feng bro, what's up?" Shirhan saw Sanhuang walking over and asked. Under normal circumstances, Sanhuang, as a bodyguard and driver, rarely took the initiative to talk to her. Wang Sis was in charge of the work. "Miss Su, I've received news that the people who attacked you before will probably attack you again soon." Feng Sanhuang said seriously to Su Shirhan. "So, for your safety, I want to find my friend to be responsible for your safety." "Those people still want to fight?" Su Shirhan was shocked. She had been keeping a low profile recently, but nothing happened during this time. She thought that the matter was over, but she didn't expect that those people still wanted to make a move. "Yes, the information should be accurate." Feng Sanhuang nodded. "Sure, as for the salary you can just tell Wang Sis. It's better to have an extra bodyguard." Shirhan didn't doubt Feng Sanhuang's words and chose to believe him. "However, my friend has other things to do. Can we go to his city and live for a while?" Feng Sanhuang asked. "We still have to go to his city?" Su Shirhan paused. It wasn't that she didn't want to go, but going to a foreign city suddenly wouldn't be easy. That's for sure. If we ask him for help, we have to accommodate him, right? Feng Sanhuang didn't say anything about the salary. In fact, he didn't know how much it was. From his perspective, it was already good enough for a heaven-class master to help. "You're right." Shirhan didn't have the temper of those superstars. Hearing Feng Sanhuang's words, she nodded. However, the manager Wang Sis heard the conversation between Feng Sanhuang and Shirhan. She was a bit unhappy. Xiao Feng, can't you protect Miss Su? Who else do we need to look for? If she goes to another city, how are we going to do our work? Miss Su is going to release her album in the first half of next year. If she goes to a small city without a recording studio, how are we going to make an album? Wang Sis listened to Feng Bro. Shirhan shook her head. Only she knew how vicious those people were. That time in the dark alley, if it wasn't for Lin Yi, she would have died there. Feng Sanhuang never said anything he wasn't sure of. Since he said he wanted help, it meant that he didn't have absolute confidence. So Shirhan wouldn't argue with him on this matter. Wang Sis was a bit unwilling. She didn't know how dangerous it was, but Shirhan insisted, so she could only give up. Feng Sanhuang, on the other hand, directly called Ling Yi. Hello, is this Mr. Ling Yi? I'm the bodyguard of the person being protected. May I know which city you're in? Feng Sanhuang asked politely. The person was a heaven-class master. It's me. I'm in Donghai City. When you guys arrive at Donghai Airport, I can pick you up. Lin Yi said. Since this was Feng Shirshan's sister, Lin Yi was naturally more friendly. Okay, we'll take today's flight. We'll arrive at Donghai Airport at night. Feng Sanhuang said. We're VIP members of the airline. We have a special green channel. You can just wait for us at the exit. I'll book the ticket and tell you the exact time. No problem. Lin Yi nodded. After the call, Lin Yi called Mengyao and Yushu down. Shield bro, it's the weekend. Why did you call us so early in the morning? What's the matter? Yushu yawned as she came down. Mengyao was a little puzzled as well. What did Lin Yi want to call them up on a weekend morning? Yao Shu, I called you this time because I have something important to tell you. Now that he'd confirmed the mission, it was about time to tell them the specifics of the mission. After all, the celebrity they were protecting had to stay at home as well. Oh? What is it? Yushu was curious. Mengyao didn't ask, but she opened her eyes wide and looked at Lin Yi, waiting for him to say something. It's like this. I'm short on money recently. You guys know that, so I accepted a bodyguard mission. I'm in charge of protecting someone, Lin Yi said straightforwardly. Bodyguard mission? Shu paused. Is it to protect a man or a girl? It's a girl, a celebrity, Lin Yi said. Chapter 3066. But after saying this, she blushed. Why did she stop him? What was she afraid of? Was she afraid that the new girl Lin Yi was protecting would fall in love with Lin Yi? Ichem? No. How could it be? She didn't fall in love with Lin Yi. What I mean is, you have to protect me and Shu, how can you protect other people? Mengyao saw that Lin Yi and Shu were looking at her strangely, so she blushed and tried to explain. But Shield Bro's mission's already over. Are you afraid that someone else is going to steal your misposition in Shield Bro's heart, Yao Yao? Yushu, on the other hand, knew Mengyao very well. How? How is that possible? It's just that the final exams are coming, Shield Bro shouldn't go far, right? And it's New Year in a month. Mengyao was still explaining incoherently. It's okay, I'll let them move to the villa, I won't go far. Lin Yi said, plus my follower Feng Shirshan asked me to help with this mission, I can't refuse. I see, alright then. Mengyao thought that it'd be fine if he moved into the villa, since he'd be under her and Shu's watchful eyes. He shouldn't be able to do anything with that superstar, right? One had to know that she didn't even need to do anything, Shu could turn the world upside down. Back then Tang Yun and Xiao Xiao were speechless because of Shu, weren't they? Then I'll go prepare 2 rooms on the first floor, then I'll pick them up. Lin Yi nodded and went to prepare the rooms. Grandma's son had already left. Housework. In other words, everyone did it together. After Lin Yi left, Yushu said, Yao Yao sis, don't worry, isn't she just a small star? She can't threaten Yao Yao sis' position. If she has any perverted thoughts towards Shield Bro, Shu will let her know who's the big wife in this villa. Besides, Shield Bro has seen Shirhan sis before. How could an ordinary little celebrity catch his eye? Why would I worry about that? I'm just worried that the celebrity won't be easy to get along with. Mengyao naturally wouldn't admit it. But thinking about it, Lin Yi had seen Su Shirhan before. If he wanted to hit on someone, it would be Su Shirhan. Why would he be interested in a small celebrity? Thinking of this, he felt much more at ease. It doesn't matter. She lives in our territory, so she has to follow our rules. She must be begging Shield Bro to be her bodyguard. If she's not willing, she can just leave, Yushu said. After Lin Yi tidied up the room, it was almost time. He drove to Donghai Airport. Feng Sanhuang bought a plane ticket at noon, so he could arrive in the afternoon. Since there was danger, they had to meet up with Lin Yi as soon as possible to ensure Su Shirhan's safety. Donghai Airport's VIP lounge, although this lounge was exclusively for VIPs. The people who came here to pick up the people who came down from the VIP passage, but there were quite a lot of people here. The seats were almost full. Lin Yi looked around and found a good seat near the window. It was a big sofa and no one was sitting there. He walked over and sat down, picking up a magazine and reading it. Lin Yi didn't bother with pleasantries as he walked over and sat down. The plane would arrive in half an hour, so Lin Yi arrived a little earlier. However, Lin Yi hadn't been reading the magazine for long when an extremely arrogant voice came from behind him, giving him a big fright. "Motherfucker, who let you sit here? Don't you know this is young Master Jun's exclusive seat?" The voice came from behind Lin Yi. It wasn't that Lin Yi didn't notice the person behind him, but there were quite a lot of people coming to pick up the plane. As long as they didn't come to attack Lin Yi wouldn't care what they were doing. Lin Yi frowned. Was there a special seat for this type of seat? But when he looked down, there didn't seem to be anything special about his spot other than the better lighting and the fact that it was a comfortable sofa. "What are you looking at? Aren't you going to give up your seat to young Master Jun?" The voice saw Lin Yi lowering his head, but he was a little impatient. If this seat was really dedicated, Lin Yi would give it to him. After all, although Lin Yi was strong, he wasn't willing to bully these ordinary people because of some small things. Lin Yi's eyes were now filled with cultivators. However, this seat wasn't dedicated at all. It wasn't marked at all. Lin Yi was a little unhappy. He stood up, turned his head and looked at the person who scolded him. This was a man in black. However, what surprised Lin Yi was that although Lin Yi couldn't see through this person's strength, he should be a master without a doubt. "This seat, where is it written that it's yours?" Lin Yi asked faintly. Although the person was a master, it was only relative to ordinary people. Lin Yi didn't put him in his eyes. The man in black didn't answer Lin Yi's question. It seemed that he didn't put Lin Yi in his eyes at all. He reached out his hand and pushed towards Lin Yi, wanting to push Lin Yi to the side. He didn't even want to explain. However, what surprised him was that Lin Yi didn't move an inch under his push. "You!" The master jumped in fright. He knew how strong he was. He pushed Lin Yi, but it didn't budge at all. He immediately increased the strength of his hand, using all of his mystic late phase peak physical strength. However, he thought that this time he would definitely push Lin Yi away. What surprised him was that Lin Yi didn't move an inch. He was still standing in the same spot. Slap. Lin Yi slapped the mystic class master, sending him flying out of the room. Boom. With a loud sound, the master fell to the ground. The corner of his mouth was full of blood and his teeth fell out. However, he didn't know the pain because he had already fainted. Mo. After the master was slapped away by Lin Yi, there was a sudden noise at the door of the resting room. A pale-faced young man, under the escort of a few men in black, walked into the resting room. But when they saw the Mystic Division master lying motionless on the ground with blood all over his mouth, they were completely stunned. A black-robed man ran over quickly. "Junior brother, what happened to you? Who hurt you?" Lin Yi frowned. Since when did Donghai City have so many masters? Chapter 3067. The one just now was a physical master and the one in front of him was most likely one too. When a physical master didn't show his strength, Lin Yi's golden finger was useless. However, what shocked Lin Yi the most was that the pale young man protected by the men in black was Lin Yi's old acquaintance, Zhening Jun. He was young Master Jun? When Lin Yi and Ma Zhu died together, his meridians were broken, so Lin Yi didn't chase after Zhen Dazhou and Zhening Jun who ran back to Donghai City. At that time, Lin Yi wasn't a match for the Jinzhong clan. Later on, the Jinzhong clan was about to be annihilated by Lin Yi and Lin Yi naturally wouldn't care about House Zhen of Donghai. However, after a while, Zhening Jun seemed to have become even more powerful. There were so many masters around him all of a sudden. Although they weren't the most powerful masters, they were only in Lin Yi's eyes. The peak of the late phase of Mystic Division was already a very powerful existence in the mortal world. Of course, this wasn't what surprised Lin Yi the most. What surprised Lin Yi the most was that the man in black that he slapped didn't die. He only lost a tooth, but his life wasn't in danger. Although Lin Yi didn't use any martial arts, Lin Yi didn't hold back after knowing that the man was a cultivator and slapped him with the strength of the early phase of heaven class. Yet he didn't die from Lin Yi's slap. He was only a master at the peak of the late phase of Mystic Division, 2 ranks lower than Lin Yi, yet he didn't die? Wasn't this person too strange? Could it be that he was from the Jinzhong clan? But the Jinzhong clan was about to be annihilated. Where would they send so many masters? Did you hurt my junior brother? The man in black checked the mystic class master who was injured by Lin Yi on the ground. After confirming that his life wasn't in danger, he stood up and looked at Lin Yi with determination. But he didn't let his guard down. A person who could injure his junior brother was definitely not a simple character. Who are you? Why did you hurt him? Zhenningjun, I didn't think we'd meet again. Lin Yi ignored the man in black. Although their defensive abilities were very strong, Lin Yi didn't put them in his eyes. With the strength of their bodies, they simply couldn't withstand Lin Yi's martial skills. Moreover, he didn't even need the powerful Frenzy Fire 8 trigrams palm. Just the 10th form of the Frenzy Fire fist was enough to take their lives. Of course, in the eyes of other cultivators, this was also a very powerful existence. The 10th form of Frenzy Fist was a skill that only an Earth-class late-phase peak could use. Using an Earth-class late-phase peak martial skill to kill a mystic late-phase peak master? What a joke. This was also the reason why these men in black were so arrogant. Lin Yi? Zhenningjun's breathing quickened, and his pale face turned even paler. He was terrified of what happened just now. He thought that he had the support of a powerful force after returning to East Ocean City and returning to his own territory. He could look down on everything, but when he stood in front of Lin Yi, his legs couldn't help but cramp. Kill him, this kid is a bad guy. He can't be left alive. Zhenningjun's words caused the man in black and the other two men in black to surround Lin Yi at the same time. Kid, I don't care which sect you are from. You will all die today. Master Jun has spoken, you won't be able to live. The first man in black said coldly to Lin Yi. Lin Yi ignored him before. This made him very angry, so after Zhenningjun gave the order, he prepared to kill Lin Yi. Clear the area, clear the area. The Flintlock squad is working here. Those who have no business here can leave. Other than the four men in black, there were a few bodyguards behind Zhenningjun with bulging waists. It was obvious that they had guns. When they called out the firearm team's name, everyone's expressions changed. They all stood up and looked at Lin Yi pitifully before quickly leaving. Which sect are you from? Golden Bell sect? Lin Yi didn't answer the man in black's question but asked back. Golden Bell clan? The man in black heard Lin Yi's words and humphed coldly. Golden Bell clan isn't even worthy of helping us. Judging from your level, you're just a hidden sect. Our sect will scare you to death. Scare me to death? Lin Yi froze. Were these people from the ancient sect? That Jin family was really impressive, to actually establish a connection with the ancient era. Let me tell you, we're from Iron Cloak clan. Are you scared now? The man in black reported his clan and looked at Lin Yi mockingly, waiting for Lin Yi to piss his pants. Iron Cloak clan? Lin Yi asked back, I've never heard of it. Do. Black-clothed man number 2 was furious. Lin Yi's words were insulting their existence, making him furious. Kid, you're asking for it. You don't have to be angry. Lin Yi is only at the level of a common noble house. He doesn't even know how many hidden noble houses there are. How would he know how powerful the ancient sect is? Zhenningjun calmed down and waved his hand. Don't talk nonsense with them, just kill him. From his point of view, it was useless no matter how powerful Lin Yi was. Now that he had the support of the ancient sect and the famous Iron Cloak clan, he wasn't afraid of Lin Yi anymore. Zhenningjun, you still owe me money, right? Where's the 250 million you owe me last time? I'm in need of money recently, return it to me and I'll forget about what happened today. It's not easy for your men to cultivate until now, I won't kill them. Lin Yi turned to Zhenningjun and said, You're a coward. Zhenningjun sneered, Lin Yi, you don't need to hide the fear in your heart. I know you're scared, that's why you're acting cool. Don't think that I don't know, I know this very well. You must die today. All of you go. Don't talk nonsense with him. Just kill him. Yes, Master Jun? The men in black from Iron Cloak clan nodded and Black Cloak 1 punched at Lin Yi. Lin Yi frowned slightly. To be honest, he didn't want to become enemies with Iron Cloak clan. After all, Lin Yi already had enmity with Dark Palace, Everyday and Everyday sect, Blood Cloak Underworld sect, and the ancient Dongfang clan. There were only a few ancient sects and Lin Yi offended 4 of them at once. There was also the Heavenly Elixir sect whose attitude was unclear. Lin Yi really didn't want to become enemies with Iron Cloak clan. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.